Hello and welcome to session 2 of the Eye of the Serpent UK 5 module within the World of Greyhawk campaign series. And we are starting off at our characters have just stopped for a rest in a cave in which they had just fought a creature and unearthed an egg that attached into another creature that they had defeated, a baby remoras. In fact, and they'd also defeated some sort of a creature from another plane that had been here. They conjecture guarding it. So they rested, and we're about to start now. They're just getting ready to go and getting their stuff together and about to descend further into the valley. And here we go. Now, just I'd like you guys to roll. Do any of you have hear noise or... If not, I can roll a 6-sided die, and I'll get you guys, and I'll get Ian to roll a 6-sided die.
Yes, hear noise is a.
Or I should say Vama.
Hear noise is a monk skill.
I'll give you that roll. Malik, you can roll that hear noise first of all.
Checking. Sorry, I'm not used to this sheet.
Right. And then we'll roll for, we'll see what happens here, but then we'll roll for whether who surprises who.
That's a negative.
And so let's roll 6-sided, and then I'll get Vama to roll 6-sided as well, and I'll get either Joe or David to roll 6-sided.
Unmodified 6.
Go ahead, Joe.
Joe? Yeah, go ahead, Joe. Now, if you have like a ranger modifier here or something, or you're not surprised, you get an advantage, let me know.
I've got a dexterity of 17, which adds a bonus to the second surprise, right?
That would be for initiative. This is for whether you're surprised or not.
I rolled
Okay.
a 6.
Yeah, and so what happens is, if without modifications, you rolled higher, which is bad in this case, right? You want to roll low. And so you guys just heard something coming down the tunnel. Now this is Malik and Griffin. And you're just getting ready, and you're rested up now, and you see a figure coming around the corner, and there's a bit of a slope that comes into the chamber that you're in. And the glow from the broken shards of Remora's egg are just starting to fade out. And there's just the regular sounds now of the cave and whatnot. You got to go first, though. Somebody's coming. And they're in a bit of a hurry. And they're going to enter the room like right now. Actually, you can see them coming into the room.
Merrick, not being able to see in the dark, moves to the shadows and attempts to hide.
Right. So go ahead, roll your hide in shadows roll. Griffin.
Griffin is, thanks to being a half elf, he has infravision, so he is going to ready himself with his staff and see what's coming this way. And he hopes Merrick does a good job hiding.
Okay.
Merrick did a poor job hiding.
No!
You see figure that tried to be cautious, but seems to be in a hurry. That's coming down that slope passageway into the chamber, and he slowed down and sort of stopped, but he's looking around over his shoulder, and he sees you. And it appears to be a humanoid, even to be perhaps this half-elf. Go ahead, Vama. You come down the slope, and you're kind of looking around.
Right. Well, if I come down the slope, I'm using my own infravision. Do I see these guys here, or either of them?
Yeah, you do actually see them. You caught them before they could hide. Now, sorry, David, what did you roll for your hide in shadows?
A 55, which is a fail based on a 10% chance of success.
Okay, gotcha. And
Wouldn't do much with infravision, anyways. I don't think there's any heat sources in here.
yeah, and for vision, unless he knew what he was doing, he could actually hide behind some heat source or something, right? You can choose to do that if you're knowledgeable. You can get behind something hotter than you or whatever. But for now, you're both ready, and you see this figure coming around the corner. And Vama, you look,
Right. Short sword in hand, by the way.
and a few seconds are ticking by, and you both look at each other. There's nobody who moves, and you're startled.
3, 2, 1. Go, 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 go. I'm being followed.
Griffin's going to look at Merrick and kind of shrug. I mean, I guess we were up after our rest and ready. Is that?
Yep, just getting ready to leave. And now, Vama, describe your character, and I'll get you two to quickly describe your characters as well, because we don't know what you guys look like at the moment. You're strangers. So this character that came down in a hurry, sliding, even slipping a little bit, but in control. Go ahead.
Yeah, he's got a good grip on the ice somehow, miraculously. He's not wearing any armor. He's a half elf. You can, as a fellow half elf, you can probably notice that immediately about him. And he's wearing no armor, but he's got a really nice looking utilitarian short sword in his hand, drawn right now. And he keeps looking behind him. He's wearing just heavy long tunic that goes down to his knees, baggy pants underneath that, made of wool, some low soft shoes, yeah. A few bags on hanging from his shoulders, no backpack or anything like that. A woolen cap here on his head. Very sort of plain looking fellow, but of indeterminate age, youngish for a half elf, you would think. And but he's got that blade in his hand. He looks very panicked, and he's like looking, and he's gesturing with one. He's like, go, 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 go.
Well.
And now, Joe, go ahead. Joe's character.
Well, Vama has come down the corridor to see another half elf. This one roughly 5'9", moderate build, brown hair, brown eyes, standing with a staff, and looks to be wearing leather, woodsman's garb and such. And he is standing in the middle of the corridor with his staff, kind of looking rather confused at another half elf coming at him, going, "Go, go, 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 go!" So.
And David's taken Malik, and he was trying to kind of slip around the side and get out of view, but realized that he ran out of room and was a bit. He just nowhere to kind of hide, and looks around.
Merrick, realizing he's actually not hidden, stands.
I think Vama probably looked at both of you, like made direct eye contact with both.
Yeah. And he seems genuine. So go ahead. Anyway, Malik, describe briefly your character.
Merrick is a middle-aged man in robes. He's bald and oddly devoid of facial hair. Wearing robes with a backpack, appears to carry no weapons, and appears to have been on the road for a while.
Now we're going to hit real time. So we have our three characters: our monk, and our druid, and our magic user thief, or so it seems, perhaps. And you came right around the corner saying, "Run, run!" Now, what do you guys do to that?
I'll stop, of course, too. Like if they're not moving, I don't want to just bowl into them. You know, I'll stop at a healthy 6 foot plus distance.
Yep.
Well, Griffin will, sensing the urgency with this newcomer and his desire to keep moving, and I'm guessing he's wanting to go back the way we've come. Is that correct?
No,
is he,
he's running from the place you came. It's like he followed you.
Oh, okay. I got
Yeah,
you.
he came the passageway you came from.
He's fleeing. He's fleeing, wanting to flee further down the direction that we're heading.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll look at Griffin will look at Merrick and say, "Should we go?"
Merrick throws a confused shoulder shrug back and attempts to peer up the passageway from which the stranger came to see or hear anything that's on its way down.
Okay, stop and listen then again. Now make your listen check. You have that again, of course, but I'm giving you a bonus this time. So you actually get like a minus 20 on it.
Okay.
Because it's making quite a bit of noise.
Even with the minus 20, that is not successful. It's a 10% chance, which seems arbitrarily low.
30 or less. But you do hear, you do pick up some noises. Somebody is coming. And you do hear something maybe skittering down the passageway in front of it. Perhaps it's let loose some ice and whatnot. And yeah, Vama's like, ooh, a bit scared.
Yeah, Vama will go real quiet right now and face back towards the direction that he came from without paying much mind to the, I'm assuming the druid is ahead, maybe 10 feet, the monk is over to the side, but without paying much attention to them and pay full attention to back the way he came with sword readied.
Now, something comes near the entrance to the room. It's close. And it's probably going to enter the room next round. And now you can hear claws scratching and such, and something skittering down the passageway, and it sounds like it's bumping into the walls and slipping and sliding a bit.
Merrick's going to turn towards the other two and proceed to run past them, hightailing it away from the sounds.
Okay, you can head down the passageway out of the room.
Waving the party, the other two on.
Yeah, okay. Let's get out of here. So you guys see this fleet monk-like character. He's like, we're out of, he's gone. He skitters down the passageway away, exits the chamber. And do you say anything as you go?
No, but Merrick does motion. We need to move.
Okay, yeah. So let's move, and he goes by you guys. So, Griffin,
I'm fleeing.
You're on his tail. Okay, you turn.
Indeed.
Mama, you came in there, and you told him, "Let's get going." They waited.
Of course, I don't listen to the half elf.
Yeah, they waited about 10 seconds. You guys real quiet. There was quiet in the room. You all waited. And sure enough, you heard the singing. Oh, and you guys book it.
I will not waste a moment, and I will continue moving as fast as I can.
Now, the passageway exits this chamber in similar fashion as it came in. It sort of twists and turns, levels out. Sometimes you actually climb a little bit, and then there's a windy parts, and you guys just head for a while, just run. Now, the monk is ahead of you guys and going. He's going to be around corner and gone pretty quick. I'll just need dexterity checks from everybody as you run down this slippery passageway.
If we're going in single file, I'll take the rear.
Well, yeah. Well, it seems you are in the rear at the moment.
Yeah, I guess I was acknowledging that I'm right behind, huh? You bastards.
Yeah.
Well,
that's a pass. Go ahead.
Rolling a dex check, you should roll under your score, under your ability score, correct?
That's right. Yeah. So 5s.
This is the one time I'm glad I rolled a 1. So
that's
not a critical fail in this case.
You're actually you have heavy armor? No, you're druid, right?
No, it's
so you're
druid, yeah.
Yeah, you're almost keeping up with the monk. Like you're really moving well, and you're being a druid. You're just nature. You're good mode. Your role was Vama.
A 6 success.
So yeah, you do quite well, but the monk just has a bit more speed. I think he's 15,
Correct.
and the druid actually is pretty high as well, right?
For his dexterity or
No, probably 12 speed.
yes, 12 speed. Yeah.
Okay,
Sorry.
but you rolled the 1, so you kept him in pace, and the monk, you run for how long do you want to run for? You took out of there and left him in your dust. Like, pretty soon you're alone running down the passageway.
Once Merrick realizes he's alone, he's going to slow down and allow the other two to catch up while still staying in the lead and trying to look and listen ahead until Merrick sees something out of the ordinary. He's going to continue moving.
Right. He does see something out of the ordinary. He sees light up ahead again. Seems more, it's not colored or anything like last time. It was more of a bluish light. This light seems more natural.
Okay, Merrick's going to slow down and approach the light quietly, hoping that the others catch up before he makes whatever's generating the light, before line of sight with the light. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And up ahead, you do see that the cave is coming out into a kind of a gorge, a little ravine. It's an exit. And you slowed down, like you said, and let them catch up. And sure enough, the druid's pretty hot on your tail. He's pretty close. And he catches up to you and stops. And after a few more seconds, Vama, this new person, you haven't even introduced yourself, actually. You don't know his name, even. This other character comes right up behind you guys, and he hasn't been hostile or attacked you or anything. In fact, he seems to not fear you. He seems to just be like, let's go. And you both come together at the mouth of the cave looking out, and you can't see at this point much beyond the other side of the ravine, and there's probably blue sky up ahead. But you're grateful that the cave kind of seems to be ended.
Merrick's going to motion to continue moving and put a couple 100 feet between the mouth of the cave and us, and then turn back and see if anything comes out of the cave.
Well,
Second that motion.
No. Actually, you wait for about 3 minutes, and nothing comes out of the cave. And perhaps it's whatever it was. Vama might know or not. It hasn't followed you guys. It turned back, perhaps.
Merrick's going to turn to our new friend and ask, what was that?
I don't know. I don't know what it was. It came from the water, the ice. It's been following me. It's been following me for miles.
Merrick might be a companion to the wretch you tangled with, coming out of the frozen lake on the other side.
Yes, it came out of the frozen lake.
Now, Vama, remember, you also witnessed originally what happened as well.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, out of the hole. You Vama will take one more look back. Nothing. We're a few hundred feet from the cave hole, right?
Yep. But I was just going to get you guys to roll a 6-sided, but you guys get -2. And you couldn't get a couple 100 feet away. You could only get about 100 feet away until you went around a corner and couldn't see the mouth anymore, right? So you went into this gorge and go ahead and roll it. I think you're going to beat this no matter what.
Individual rolls or just one for the party?
No, one roll for the party at this point. And if you have a ranger or somebody, well, I guess you don't, so forget it. He has that benefit in this instance, right?
Does anybody want to volunteer to be the official dice roller for the party? Initiative and surprise and whatnot?
Who has the best dexterity, or who's the point man? Who would be in front normally?
Ooh, I don't think we've determined that yet. I do have a high dexterity, but I'm sure so does the monk, at least.
I think it's historically been Merrick.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go with
That's
that for
fine.
now. Merrick, just roll 6-sided. I want to see if you get like a surprise. Complete
Merrick has
surprise.
a 16 dexterity.
No, so you don't get any benefit on this roll.
I believe it's a
6.
1.
You rolled a 1?
No, I rolled a 3. I believe the surprise benefit
Yeah.
is 1.
So you went to 1, and so you actually you see a creature come out of the entrance, and you guys have lots of time. You're watching it. It's about 100 feet away, and you recognize it as your friend, the Lacedon, which you'd hit in the head with your staff. Now this creature had basically slumped into the water and disappeared, and it had kind of sort of regenerated back to 1 hit point, and then came out and tried to, and has been following Vama since. And you recognize now a side of his head is still taved in, and you can see his brain, or what it would be in a ghoul. It's kind of there, and there's kind of a bit of brain matter seeping out, and the whole side of his face is all droopy and kind of paralyzed, and his one arm is paralyzed, it seems to be, and his one leg is gimpy as well, but he's determined still with this unnatural undead force. He's protecting himself at a pretty good clip. He's moving at about 9 speed, and he's just been catching up. And persistent, he's on his trail, but he's rough shape though. He's definitely banged up, but he's coming fast, and he smells blood or humans or whatever prey. But you guys are just watching. You're all just like, goosebumps go down your spine because you remember hitting this thing in the head and staving in its head like wham. And that's where you got the +1 dagger, is it not?
I think so.
Do you guys get that +1 dagger? Oh shit! I thought you did.
We did. I just don't remember who.
I think you dove down and got it.
Yes, I did retrieve from the bottom.
Okay. So anyway, moving ahead, you guys are in this gorge, and you guys have advantage, like an initiative, of course, and he doesn't have a missile weapon, so it's going to take him a full round to reach you guys. So he's stumbling, lurching forward, and pushing himself, and in this guttural gait.
I want to throw my sword point down right into the dirt in front of us. If there is dirt, I don't want to bust the tip. Whoosh, like that, and start unwrapping that sling from my wrist and drop a bullet in that thing. I want to spin it around.
Okay, so it takes a round to put it. Well, if you put the sword in the sand, how many shots do you get a round with the sling?
Just one.
Because unless the weapon's armed, you have to take a round to arm it.
Do what I can do. Oh, so you mean by the time it's ready, he's going to be upon us?
Yeah.
All right, then I don't throw the sword down. I'll just utter "fan out," and I'll just move.
There's
to
not
the
much
right.
room. Like the trail is kind of in a bit of a ravine. You might get 2 you cross.
Ooh.
It's maybe 10 feet. You could pick a spot if you want to confront it, but it seems it wants to confront you.
Oh, good. Oh, lovely. I'll just move to the right as much as I can.
Okay.
Does Merrick have a weapon?
Negative, unarmed attacks only.
Right on.
And he doesn't have any weapon proficiencies besides that one, I think. Or does he have another one?
Correct.
Yeah, so hands and pole arms. Can anyone have a missile attack or want to throw a rock at it or something?
Merrick addresses the party and says, it appears we can outrun it. Shall we run or fight?
Well, Griffin does have a long sword that he can't use. I don't know of what benefit that would be for. He's not proficient in it, but it might be better than unarmed combat against this lake ghoul.
Well, time's ticking here, so
I'm ready for it to rush in. If there's that comment about us outrunning it, he's been following me for miles. He will come. We stop him here.
Okay, well, Griffin's going to take the longsword off his back and toss it toward Merrick, who can do whatever he wants with it because it's not going to do me any good anyway. I'm not proficient in it either.
Gotcha.
And then turn around and get ready for this thing.
All right, now everybody has to roll 10-sided die, and since it's a monster, we're not using weapon speed. All you get are your dexterity bonuses. Okay, so that you minus your dex bonus from this 10-sided roll. And that's basically, and if you cast a spell, the number of segments you used to cast spell would be added to this dice roll. And if it was weapon to weapon, we'd use weapon speed. That's a rule I was studying, researching. Okay, so 10-sided, everybody, and I'll keep a roll here for the creature. And he rolled quite well, I must say.
Subtract the dex bonus.
Oh, and I was going to use roll 20 for rolling. Sorry about that, but I did roll a 1 there. Yeah, minus your dex from this roll. And the cat's sleeping on my paperwork. Go on, cat.
Griffin rolled a 3.
Okay.
Merrick is a total of 4.
3, Merrick 4. And sorry, Vama, you got a
4 also.
4. Okay, the creature goes, it's amazing that it moves in powerful lurches. It's energized by some undead force, and it's giving out this kind of croaking half snarl because it's all paralyzed and it's biting its own tongue and stuff. And it just lunges randomly at Vama. And it appears to be the last prey on its scent, and it lunges at you, and it gets only 1 attack in this instance.
It's been nice knowing you guys.
Because the one, it normally gets 3 attacks, but it only gets 2 attacks this time because its one arm is paralyzed. And on roll 20, pardon me, let me just move this over here. Okay, and your AC, Vama, is what?
7.
13. Oh, he just needs a 13 to hit you. And I rolled an 8. Oh, I rolled the dice again. Sorry, I'll work on that. Roll 20. But he did miss on the second one. I rolled an 8. But he just hit you with one of his hands, which is trouble. You take 1 hit damage, and you have to make a saving throw versus paralyzation as you feel the energy of this rancid, whatever it has on its claws, sort of infest your wound. That even 1 point damage.
So I took 1 hit point of damage, and I'll make a save versus paralysis.
Yeah.
Oh, natural 1.
Oh.
So you do stumble. You see you lurch out, and you stumble down your knee slowly and sort of fall down, and the creature tried to bite you with its mangled up jaw, but it couldn't bite him. And it turns its one good bloodshot eye on the other 2 characters, and it's your guys' move. However, we did have a character go down with paralyzation for the moment.
Right. Not able to fully get out the distract him.
Yeah, you took up the attacks, but unfortunately, okay, here we go. Who rolled lowest here? You guys. Merrick rolled higher. Okay, Briffin, your turn next. You see this
All
new
right.
companion go, this thing smacks him.
Just combat. Okay, well, I'm going to attack with my staff.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
All right, so this thing's
wait.
AC is 7.
And I would be rolling.
You have
AC. You said
Yes.
7?
Yeah, so it's unmodified a 13 roll,
Right.
unless you have some benefit.
No, not in this one. So
Go for it.
not a lot of confidence here. Come on.
Go on, you guys. Yeah.
Oh,
Nice roll.
take it.
Now, this thing was on the edge, and describe how you actually try or do finish this thing off.
Do you want to roll for damage, or was it?
No,
unnecessary?
you go. No,
Oh,
you actually do roll for damage. Let's see how much
Okay.
you ruin this thing, because it only had 2 hit points.
Okay.
So
well,
actually, you might not actually. Oh, I jinxed you. Go ahead, roll.
no, you didn't. You didn't. I rolled a 4.
Excellent.
So,
Go ahead.
So as this watery fiend was swiping and clawing at our new speedy companion and putting him on the ground, I took the opportunity to spin around with that staff, really, really hopeful that I hit it, and whacked it on the opposite side of its skull from where its brain had been exposed.
Kick it all out through the hole. Boom.
Physics.
Hit the left cortex.
And just tried to drive as much of its gray matter out as I could.
And it worked. It was relying on that last brain cell.
Excellent.
And it does go down, but it keeps twitching and thrashing around. But you think you killed it. There's not much left of its brain. There's an empty bowl there now, and it was stinky and messy. And you pull back this new companion of yours, and what do you guys do now? You did kill it.
Is the new guy unconscious? Is he conscious now? Can we tell? I mean, we saw him go down.
He's unresponsive. He seems to be breathing. His eyes are open in this kind of terror-stricken look, and he's kind of gulping like a bit of a guppy, and he's making the sounds. He's trying to speak, but he seems. And then you look. There's a wound on him where the claw of the ghoul had hit him slightly on the shoulder and went through the fabric and whatnot. And it seems to have this sort of a foul smell to it and this look. And you're not sure. It's like that must be causing him to be poisoned or something. These creatures, you're not sure what's wrong with him. He's breathing.
Merrick grabs a hold of one of our new companions' arms and motions for Rippin to grab the other, and we start dragging him away.
Yep, will do.
Oh, you take him away from the scene and find a bit of more
sword.
Merrick's going to retrieve the long sword.
You remember to stoop down and pick it up, and you give a shudder and go a little further down the trail to a more comfortable spot and away from the smell, and this thing hopefully is dead. Yeah, it's dead. I'm sure of it. And you do get 77 experience points, group experience points.
Okay.
Just so you know. And so you pull him into a comfortable spot, you prop him up, I guess, and what do you want to try to do? So anything? He's still breathing. His eyes are darting around a little bit, and it seems he's taking in sensory input. The druid could make a wisdom roll here, actually.
Okay, excellent. Just a moment.
Do any of you have medical or any sort of scholarly background? I'm thinking the druid may have a bit of training in this regard.
He may, but I'm not sure. I'm looking on my
more with animals and plants. You know how to tend gardens and stuff, but
Yeah.
humans, you're also taught some basics. Go ahead and roll.
Let's see here. Trying to remember to use roll 20.
Right. So
yes,
that's a definite pass, even with the give you a restriction because you're rookie and whatnot. But you still pass, and you realize that this creature has definitely infected our friend, and he's I'm not sure. I think given time, he may be able to kind of shrug it off. Perhaps it has to run its course. I don't know. It shouldn't be too long, though. See already, and you can see, and you can tell his hands twitching a little bit. He's trying to point, or I don't know. He's just trying to twitch his hands, and so you guys wait. It's been about 5 minutes or so. You went down the trail,
Trying to wipe the drool, but not quite getting it.
Yeah, you think maybe in another 20 minutes, half hour, he maybe still have some numbness, but perhaps be more alert. But you do notice as you turn around, the spot that you found, as you just conveniently halted at, is the entrance to a bit of a shelf on the trail. And the trail left the cave and went into the side of the mountain. And you see now to your left is a small tier. Now, if you look at the original map that was given to you, you'll know that this valley has multiple tiers. And there's a large tier below you that you guys saw before, in which there was a large lake. Is anybody looking at that map? Know what I'm?
Yeah.
I'll give you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're looking right now. You guys originally were in that nest nutch. You came down. You went around the side of the lake. You got attacked by the Lacedon the first time. You entered a cave complex and went down there. You encountered the Remoras, and then you fled and whatever, ended up in this situation. And you predict that you are, in fact, quite a ways down. You would be out of the side of the mountain about here. Did you guys see that?
Yes.
The green circle.
Yeah, so you've dropped in altitude probably about 500 feet. And you are now, you can look to your left, you see there's a small valley in which the original water had fallen down into and pooled somewhat. But then you now can see that it spills off where it's really wide there, right at this mouth. That mouth of that lake is probably a mile wide. And it's like a beautiful rim waterfall in which you can see chunks of rock poking out and whatnot, but it looks extremely dangerous. Even from here, it's probably suicide to try to skip across those stones. And so that being said, you're looking down on this large valley now. Again, this is one of the larger parts of the valley, and you can see a large lake that's kind of covered in some sort of material. It's probably weeds or growth. There's a small island. On the other side, there's a forest, and the river flows out of the lake into the forest. Where it spills off to your left, the river enters a big marsh and disappears into the marsh. It becomes a huge wetland for about, I would say, 6-7 miles before it hits that lake. And from here, you're all craning, you're all looking. It's quite an impressive sight, except for Vama. He's kind of drooling on the trail. But you two are looking out and going, look at that. And you can see pretty good view from here. This part of the valley seems to have, that island that's on the lake seems to be a structure. It's square, and it was built. It's like a lighthouse or some sort of tower that's partially overgrown with vines and whatnot. And behind it, you can just make out, and this is probably about 7 miles away across just the bare end of your vision, you can see a staircase going up the mountain range. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. And you make out faint trails down below in the grass. And this part here is like a swamp land and high grass in areas that's like 8-foot grass. Appears the only way down at this point is the trail you're on keeps going down. You can see it disappears pretty soon. You won't be able to have this view anymore. So that's why I'm letting you have a good look. You see, if you keep going, you'll lose your view, and you have a choice eventually. Whenever you get down, you hope that you saw a trail on the right and a trail on the left. One of them went toward the small valley up here, if you wish to go that way and see what's in there. And the other trail, you think, descended kind of almost straight down into the valley. And it was up to you whether you wanted to go left or straight. But at this point, you're still probably about 300 feet altitude above that decision point. So your friend now is stirring a bit more. You've taken in the view, and you guys have a snack and turn back to attend him or do whatever you'd like to do. Go ahead. I'll let you guys go with it for now.
Would that be all right if I'm effectively paralyzed right now and drooling? I'm going to take a quick bio break. I can't really interact much until then anyway. So I'll be back in 1 minute.
Sure. Yeah, you bet. Yeah, you'll be down for another 10 minutes. He thinks at least. He's looking better, though. He's getting a bit more color in his cheeks. The wound looks normal now. It doesn't have such a bad infection look to it. And none of you guys have first aid or anything like that?
I'm not seeing it on
It's not really
my Roll20 sheet. I'm not thinking I do.
It's something you could use common sense. You could pick a bunch of proficiencies and background, and they're a bit vague in that regard in D&D. So you kind of have to come up with some that you pick early and make sense. The cleric, if he was here, he'd have it, of course.
Do that, yeah.
So meanwhile,
Right.
you could help him move along, but it'll take a few more minutes. You guys have a snack and decide what you want to do next. You notice to the left that big lake. It looks pretty tricky to go across the part where all the rocks stick up, and you know what I mean, like those tropical rivers where they flow off the rim, and it's real long. That's one of these rivers. It's super long, and the yeah. What else would you see? And that was about it at the moment. Oh, and across the whole part of this valley, like so over the lake and over, there's a forest on the other side, like kind of jungle forest, and on the other side of that is a big rock spire that sits in the middle of the valley and kind of cuts it off, and you have to go around it right or left, or you're not sure how to get past that part of the valley. There's a bit of a bottleneck coming up ahead.
Well, I guess we'll try to prop the new guy up as best we can. And while we're doing that, Griffin will talk to Merrick and say, what do you think is the best way to proceed from here? The trail down is the one that is the most direct, or seems to be anyway, right? The one that goes across the lake is longer. You said that was like roughly a mile across, right?
You might not be able to get across there. It's so risky. You're looking even from here. You're like, no. You probably would have to go around the lake, and you recall that there was possibly spots to ford the lake and the river before it turned into that little lake in that section.
That's also where we got those two waterlogged ghouls after us too, was around the lake. So
no, excuse me. That was previously. You guys have descended a long ways.
Right. I know it was a previous lake, but still, it was
Well, yeah, and lakes aren't safe in this place apparently.
I think we're a little worried about lakes at this point.
Right.
Yeah. So for now, I'm just going to assume that he's getting up and starting to walk around a bit and getting the feeling back in his limbs and shaking his head and cobwebs off, and then you guys can start moving down the trail. And you guys are, like I said, going to leave your point of view, and you'll be cut off into valleys and gullies now for a little while, probably for about a mile or so as you make your way down this hillside, mountainside. Like you just popped out of the side of the cave on the mountainside, pretty sheer, and then there was a bit of a trail and heading down, zigzagging down the mountainside, almost like a goat trail. And you guys follow that for, like I said, about a mile, and it takes quite a while. It takes probably about an hour and a half to get that far. And he's finally able to talk, and his feelings back and his limbs and stuff like that. And he's just like, oh, so yeah, Vama, you're finally out of it. You're like, whoa, you're thinking coherently. And these guys have been kind of leading you down the mountainside, down this kind of goat trail, zigzagging down. And they'd been looking over a panoramic view of the next section of the valley. And down below, you could see this weed lake and this forest on the other side and grasslands and marsh. And now you guys have descended for about an hour and a half further, and you're back to normal, Vama. You come to a fork in the path, and it comes to an edge, and you can't quite, you're stuck still you can tell that you're still in a bit of a gorge. You don't have a good view yet, but you can look off to your left. You can see where the gorge opens up into that other little valley above this large one. So right now you went through one valley, you're level with another one, and there's a large one below you. All right. And you guys are in the middle one at the moment. And you can tell, you look down, you can see to your left that it opens up into the little valley, the middle one. But you can turn here and go to the right. And the right trail, you thought, zigzagged down into these grasslands of the large valley. You would enter beside the waterfall where it comes in and disappears into the marshlands.
Okay.
As soon as Vama felt confident enough to walk on his own feet without any support and not dizzy anymore, I was blinking in and out there for a second. So couldn't tell what was dream or not. Velma wants to turn to both, or whoever was helping him. Thank you very much for helping me there. I did not think I was going to make it.
Neither did I. So, at this point, just continue down the trail.
Do you want to go left to the middle valley and just explore it or take that trail? Or you can turn right, and it seems it'll be quicker if you turn right as far as so far. It's more direct into the bigger valley.
Right.
In the words of old Bilbo Baggins, shortcuts make long delays, man.
Yeah, it's you feel adventurous. I'm not sure.
What's the terrain like on the longer? Not the terrain, but the environment above the terrain.
The larger part, the valley below you, which is probably another 500 feet down, is much warmer. And in fact, the river it flows into the valley and disappears. The valley just absorbs the river, and it creates this massive buildup with this marsh and this huge lake. This lake is probably 6 or 7 miles across. Like, this is a big valley. And the valley itself, from your side to that rock spire, it must be 10 miles at least. It's a big valley. I just want to get you an impression of that. Here it really opens up. The valley to your left, the one that's level with you right now, is maybe a 15th the size of that, what you remember when you flew over it. And it held a lake that spilled off the lip. Mm-hmm. And it also had a waterfall from the previous level. And at that point, it was frozen and way up in the alpine and ice. And then it went down 500-600 feet into that little layer, in which somehow it got a lot warmer. And then when it spilled over the lip and into the swamps below, it flooded this valley and created this tropical environment. And the lake is one big mass of weeds and whatnot as well. And there's, like I said, when you looked at the picture, you could see on the northeast side, there was a little bit of a island. There were trails on either side. There were also trails that were going along the valley sides that you thought you saw. And so that might have been other ways down the valley. But as far as you can tell, if you go right, you have to zigzag down close to the waterfall into the grasslands. If you go left, you'll have to go probably around the lake and explore that whole valley, or a lot of it. So quite a ways further if you go left.
You see that out on the lake there? They're pointing at the structure, what appeared to be a structure. Can we make out what sort of structure, what size? Is it a lighthouse, a monastery, a fortress, a tower?
So you're half elf, right? So your vision's pretty acute. Roll a let's make it a wisdom roll, and just for.
Oh, can Griffin make the same roll?
Yeah, you guys can look and see if you pick up anything, and so.
Success here, 10.
Okay, it's. Now, when you flew over, Vam, I remember you saw this part of the valley, and you recall that you were like, oh, I've seen that before in sort of some illustrations and knowledge. And you can tell that this island at one time was probably built by dwarves.
That's right. It had a dwarven architectural style.
Right. Yeah, and it's well built. But you can tell even now, you can tell that it's partially overgrown.
It looks abandoned. No smoke.
But there is a small causeway that connects it to the side of the lake. And the causeway itself is probably pretty long. It's like a quarter-mile causeway, but you could make it out meandering toward the tower. And the tower itself is completely surrounded by this lake that's covered, like I said, with this weird growth. And you guys now hear birds chirping, and there's a nice wind going on. You're getting nice fresh air. The Lacedon's behind you guys, and I don't know if you know each other's name yet.
Nope, we haven't had no introduction except for a calamity.
So you have a few minutes here, and you got this view, a sort of view. You have to make a choice: go left to the little valley, or right to the larger valley, as far as you know.
Now
I
that,
think
now
go
that
ahead.
things turn to normal, Merrick turns to our new companion and introduces himself as Brother Merrick, a wandering monk.
A monk. Of what order?
What's with
Grandma doesn't know what a fighting monk deity style is. He's assuming that you're.
Introduces himself as a novice monk.
Without a home.
I'm Vama. Everyone calls me Vama. And before you ask, I am here for the same reason as you. Those birds, they got me too.
Griffin
I saw
is,
you guys. I saw you guys ahead. I've been following you since the nest.
Griffin is making a point of he's listening, but he's also looking at the foliage and fauna in the area, and then he acts almost distracted. Oh yeah, he turns around. Vama, you say? I'm Griffin, Druid of Obadiah.
Druid. I knew a druid once. Vama. I'm very happy to meet your acquaintances here in the middle of the beautiful mountains. How lovely that we have all decided to travel here together under the same caravan. What time of day is it right now, anyhow?
Well, with their rest, unfortunately, it's already about. Well, actually, Druid, if you want to take a look at the sun and the stars and roll a six-sided die and tell us how many hours of daylight you should have left. Make it a four-sided die and add 2.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad I rolled a 6, but now I can a 4-sided die and add 2.
And you're kind of mumbling like, I wonder how much time we have left. And the Druid's looking up and what do you
Well,
see, Druid?
I rolled a 4 plus 2.
So you tell them that you rolled a 4 plus 2?
What is this druid
No,
speak?
I'm shocked. I'm shocked that there would be 6 hours left though in the day. But that's
We lost a
their
lot of
road,
time
so
somewhere in there.
Yeah.
almost as if we time slowed while we were in the cavern.
Or we were in the cavern for longer than we thought.
For
No, you guys did have an early start when the rocs originally dropped you off. It was in the morning, and you guys got So and you did roll 4. I mean, but you do have it seems 6 hours daylight left, which should be adequate time to at least get quite a ways either direction.
Vama would like to just say, like they're pointing down at the structure that's at the end of the causeway. Despite its distance, we can still make out those what looks like some sort of stairwells or paths that are leading up into the middle of the hill there, behind it.
Behind it, right?
Pointing down there,
right.
I think that it would be better to go there than to spend the night out in the open or in the marshes.
Cover would be good. If it's not much, it'd be better than being out in the open.
Well, you saw how these birds got us before, huh? Maybe they will be missing us.
Merrick nervously looks to the sky and nods in agreement.
So I guess we're going to go left.
Okay, to the middle valley part.
Around to try to get to that causeway, correct?
Yeah, the shortest distance possible. We don't want to get caught in that marsh, I'm thinking. marsh after dark, what are we going to do? Sit down and hang out and have a lovely camp? We're going to be miserable.
Now you guys head left and you travel for about an hour, and you cover some good. The trail goes nice downhill. The speed's quick. You got maximum speed. In fact, you can skitter along pretty fast. And before you know it, you're at the. You enter the middle little valley, and you get the full view of it as the panorama breaks out. And right in front of you is a large lake. It probably spans about 1.5 miles to your left, goes northward up the valley. It's probably about 1 mile wide, as I said. And around the right side, the rim where it spills over, as there's rocks sticking up and shallow bits, but you could see now even that it would be it'd be suicidal to try to skip across there, unless you could walk on water or something. To your left, there is kind of cold, frozen bits of turf and ground that goes around the lake. And the only way to cross would be to go around the lake at this point, because you can see to your left, about 1.5 miles away, the river is flowing into this lake. And we could look at that map, and it would explain it a bit better. If you look at that map quickly, you can have another quick look. You can see you are on the edge of that small lake. So
on the western edge of that,
yeah. And so you see how dangerous it would be to cross this part right here. This is like 1.5 miles. I'm actually underscaling the size of this lake. It's bigger than this. You would have to now backtrack all the way around the lake and go around the edge of it to go to the other side.
What is that directly beneath us? Is that wooded area? Is that grassland or woods?
It appears to be really tall grass, like really tall grass, like 8-foot grass, 10-foot grass, and super thick. There doesn't seem to be many. You can't make out. You thought you might see some creases that could be trails in it, but from here it's hard to tell. The rest of the area, like below this is basically swamp, and you think you make out some firmer trails. And unfortunately, across, you're not sure if you can make out a way. It would be quite a journey to go around the lake to get over there. But you could. It's your call. But you're looking now, and it's like, oh, you're counting up. It's like, ooh, it's probably about that's going to be like a 4-mile walk around the lake.
What are other options here, huh? Don't want to cross marsh unless you're saying that we can kind of make out some solid patch in the patches or trails in the marsh, or does it?
Yeah, it seems like there's some creases and distinct ones, the consistent creases that might indicate trails. Like the Druid kind of recognized that. He says, yeah, there's possibly some firm ground down there, but from here it's hard to tell. And it's going to get dark. By the time you went around this lake, you might have an hour or two daylight left.
The other option would be going down and being somewhere between that grassland and the marsh by the time the sun set, right?
Yeah, it's hard to estimate, but if you went down the trail to the right, you might be able to get down to the grasslands in a couple, 3 hours, and then you would have maybe 2 hours to 3 hours of daylight. To go further, it would be tricky, and then you could proceed in darkness, of course. You might, if you went into the night, you might be able to reach that island in, like, you estimate maybe 10 hours. If just to give you a scale how far you could go. Those stairs behind it you could reach, you hope, in like 10, 11 hours.
How do we feel? How does everyone feel? We have no food that I know of. I don't have any.
Merrick opens his pack and shares some of the rations that we had salvaged from the nest.
Well, and basically we have, at this point, we've got roughly 5 hours of daylight left. That's correct, because we had 6 and we spent an hour.
Yeah. Right.
So, and it would be 10 hours to get to the causeway and that little island.
If we're going to camp out, it might be better for us to not camp out in high grasslands. It's definitely better for us not to camp out in a marsh, or even
Right.
traveling by night. I don't know if that's such a hot idea. I mean, you're the druid, huh? But
You guys can push yourselves you can push yourselves into the night and stuff if you have torches and whatnot.
yeah, but then we push ourselves towards an unknown goal. If we get to that tower and it's occupied, we're exhausted, and it's the middle of the night.
True. And I'm just using that for scale as well. I don't have to go to the tower.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but wherever we're going to get, it would be good if one of us at least has got a half a wit about us still.
Yeah.
So can we tell from our vantage point here? Can we see a place that we might be able to get to before it gets really dark to try to bivouac for the night?
Well, not really. Right now you're in the wilderness, and
Right.
any spot's as good as any.
Okay.
You guys want to try to just spend the rest of the day going all the way around this lake to the other side of the waterfalls? So at least the next day, we can maybe even camp out on the upper edge of the waterfalls, but on the other side of the lake. So the next day, we can maybe find a way to descend and avoid the marsh completely and stick to the more rocky, solid ground and follow it down until we can get to around the location where that causeway is. Maybe there's my bid.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I like that. So we're not trying to beat the clock to get to the causeway. We're just trying to get to the other side of the
For
other
safer
side of
descent later.
Exactly.
Right. Okay, so left you're gonna go, and you guys go down deeper into the valley, follow the trail down, and get a bit closer to the lake, and you can see there's probably about a quarter mile to a half mile rim around the northwest side, and you'll have to follow it for about a mile and a half, as I said, at least. And so you start your journey, I guess, and it's still light out, and it's a pretty brisk, cold valley. The one below, you could tell, was much warmer for whatever reason, and that's when you guys hear a soft sort of popping sound. It sounds and it echoes across the valley. It's hard to tell, but you think it came from across the valley and might have echoed across, and it was this weird, long popping sound. And it was pretty loud. It was like, holy, yeah, that's loud. This valley's probably 3 miles wide, 2 miles wide, if that. And it echoes off the sides.
What does popping sound like? Could you describe that more? A popping sound, an organic popping sound, or a firecracker?
No, it's like gas being released, if I might use that awful metaphor.
Like blooping?
No, the high pressure. Some release of air. That's about what it kind of reminded you of. And it almost reminded you of, remember one time, Vama, when you were out on the boat on the voyage, when you guys had seen some whales, some huge beasts that everyone came out to take a look at.
Like a...
Yeah, and it was a pressure, but there couldn't be these creatures in this lake. I mean, they're the ocean. They're huge. These creatures were the size of a boat. This lake is, you can already see, it's not very big. It's 1.5 miles long, 1 mile wide, if that.
But it's coming from somewhere out in the valley, right?
Yeah. And you mentioned that description of these guys, and it just seems a bit odd.
Whatever it is, it's probably not harmful, huh?
So you guys are going to keep... Sorry, go ahead.
Probably. Probably.
No, go ahead.
Possibly not harmful.
So you guys have seemed to have accepted Vama for now. I mean, you're all together again and moving along.
Somewhere
going-
along the way, like, oh, I'm sorry. As we're just walking, you share words a few times like that, and somewhere inside of this span of time, I kind of want to throw it at you guys. Vama wants to throw it at you guys. So, where are we going? Except for off this mountain.
We're not sure. We're all
Good,
brought
then.
to
Down.
the same location, and seems circumstance has us traveling together.
That is it. Okay, good. We're all in the same cradle then. Okay. Are you happy with this?
Griffin gestures up toward the roc's nest with his staff. Birds dropped us off up there. Gestures down toward the bottom of the valley. Trying to get down there. And once we're there again, I hope the birds don't pick us up.
If it's all the same with you, gentlemen, I would like to retain your company for the descent. He just wants to make that perfectly clear.
Right.
Yeah, and you guys, and the bond of battle kind of does its trick too. You guys are all look at each other, and I get it.
The
And
bond of paralysis.
bond that too. They didn't leave you for the birds. That's true. That would have told you a lot. You woke up a bit later beside this twitching corpse who covered in ichor. They're gone.
Okay,
Strip
cool.
pick your pockets. So you're moving along the lake, and it narrows and widens beside the lake, and could everybody roll a 10-sided die, and the monk gets your detect traps added onto that, whatever you roll.
Wait, hold on. Is that a monk skill? I mean, like a thief skill, right?
Yes, a thief as well. Yeah.
Is a thief skill as well as a monk skill, and it's
Oh.
not really added on; it's a percentage.
Yeah. So go ahead and roll percentage, and you can roll percentage as well, Druid. Just tell me what you
okay.
got.
Oh, well, I just did. Well, I'll do that then. Hang on.
And Griffin.
Missed it by 5.
Right.
Griffin rolled a 32.
Roger. And Vama.
Did you want me to roll a d10 or a percentile? I have
Percentile.
find and move as a thief. I have find and remove traps if that matters. But D percentile.
Yeah.
Let me see. We've got a 0.8.
Okay, Vama, there's something odd with there's been some ice sheets and whatnot and broken pieces along the edge of the lake, but the one up ahead of you seems a bit odd and out of place.
Immediately put his hand out, like just a stop, halt, like a silent gesture. What seems out of place about it?
It's got a convenient crack going around the edge of it, and it seems to be just a spherical chunk that's about 30 feet diameter that's on the edge of the lake and precarious. Now you can realize it's precariously balanced, and you guys are going to walk across it.
Does it look cut or just incidental?
Looks cut.
I'll definitely point it out to the companions without saying anything, just pointing at it. See this?
And you guys are stopped. You're about 30 feet away from it, if that, 20 feet. And the water's lapping, and the sound of the waterfalls behind you guys now. And there's this eerie kind of silence in the valley.
There's a way to navigate around it, right? I mean, there's plenty of space.
Yep.
Merrick begins looking around, concerned for another
Mm-hmm.
figure from under the lake.
Yeah, and you're keeping an eye on the lake.
What sort of
Yeah.
cover do we have from above us?
Your back basically has the sheer face of the valley side, and that's it. And you can retreat from where you came from at the moment. And that's it. And you have to move forward. You have to get close. Now, you can go along the edge where you were originally going to walk across this piece because it looked similar to very similar to other pieces you walked across. And you noticed that this one, there was something odd about it. You think somebody had customized it.
Looks like a trap.
Yeah, to tip.
They surely couldn't be for us, could it? Oh, I'm sort of inquiring with my companions here. It could not be for us.
Who would know that we're here?
And why would this looks like it's for a large animal? It's a fairly sizable chunk, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
A bit elaborate
So-
for a human.
The edges of it are, now that we've spotted it, now that Bama spotted it, we can see the edges, delineated clearly, or is it? I'm just wondering if
It's
Griffin
very
can-
cleverly. If Vama's just convinced that it's unstable, it's going to tip, and he thought that it looks like somebody might have undermined. He thought he saw chip marks on one side where somebody undermined and it created that misbalance, so that when you walked on it, maybe they intended to tip it or something.
It looks too clean
So
to be accidental.
can I go up to the edge of it with my staff and I want to stay off of it, but see if I can tell if it's going to move by pressing around the edge with my staff and such.
Nothing happens.
While he's doing that, Vama wants to unwrap that sling that he keeps normally wrapped around like a bracelet.
Yep.
He's going to get that thing ready right there and just kind of have it weighted in his hand with a good lead bullet.
Right. And you've been working at it with your staff and tapping it, and it's a big chunk of ice, and you can't really tell by doing that how it works or what.
Gotcha. Well,
We go?
yeah, let's avoid this.
Yeah.
All right. You guys want to move forward or back?
Forward. But around it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you could.
We can
You
clip
can
that edge.
detour. You can detour it,
Yeah.
and you're keeping an eye on the lake, and you don't trust it, of course, and you slip around the side, and roll a 6-sided die. Your point man person. I think that was Merrick.
5.
Okay, well, you beat my 6. And so the whole ice sheet tips. Like when you guys are going around and skirting the side of it, it does tip, and the whole thing tips and then slides into the water. Kadoosh, and it's a big chunk of ice, probably weighs 1.5 tons, 2 tons. And it just creates a big wave effect, and the water sloshes to the side. And you guys are waiting for a minute and looking. And a few seconds goes by, and then this creature comes, stands up out of the water, goes, "You pay the toll," and appears to be this green scaled humanoid, hunched over, and he's got one moment. Okay, suddenly the ground that looked firm before it tilts violently to one side and slides into the lake. And if you guys would have been on it, you may have slid into the lake yourself and floundered. Now you guys weren't, of course, and so it slides. And describe this creature. He's wearing gold armbands for some reason. This creature, and it reminds you of a. Now you guys haven't fought many creatures, so I'm not sure what it reminds you of. But it's another marine version of normally a land creature, and it speaks this weird language. And he goes, "You bring the toll. You bring the toll. I let you pass. You clever, but I won't let you pass." And he's got the spear in his hand. And he's crouching down. And the water only goes up to about his waist. And the ice has slid away and bobbed up and is floating away.
Merrick asks, "What is the toll?"
10 gold piece. Our one head.
Vema actually laughs out loud. And at the mention of 10 gold pieces, he actually will give a chuckle there.
Ah,
Starts nodding his head this way.
you laugh, you die, and now roll initiative, and he's got a spear, and it looks like he can throw it.
I've got that sling ready too.
Right.
What are
everybody-
we supposed to do? I didn't provoke him. You know that, guys, right?
Yeah. Oh, he was angry. His trap didn't work, probably.
Well, he's got
Yeah, he
more
was
gold on
seized.
his wrist than we do our entire party, man.
Yeah, he was short-tempered for sure. So
Yeah, if he's gonna kill us, he's gonna do it anyways, isn't he? He did. If we would have got to jump us in the water,
So, Griffin, what'd you roll?
damn.
oh, it's just for initiative.
Yeah, 10-sided, plus any minus your dex.
I got a 2.
Okay, so you'll be going first unless somebody beats that. David, you got a...
Well, I first rolled a d6 incorrectly. Upon rolling a d10, I have a 4 minus 1 for 3 total.
Yeah, right on. And then Vama got a
You want me to roll a d6 or d10? No, I'm
10.
sorry. D10. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No
No problem.
2 on d10.
Nice.
Any modifications? Dexterity modification?
Yeah, you minus that from it.
0.
Well, so Vama, this creature, he's quick, and he's pissed off. Like, his trap didn't work. He wanted to get you guys, and now he doesn't want to let you get by, though, either. So he's got a spear. He wants to throw it, but you're quick. You're first. Go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna launch that sling bullet.
Nice.
Hopefully, clock him right between the eyes with it.
Okay, and he has bits of chainmail on, and
Oh,
so
God.
on. His AC is 5. Go ahead. What's your...
I need a 16 with a sling bullet. I need a 14 to hit him.
Right. Dexterity advantage.
Come on, baby. Let's do Don't Fail Me Now. And an 11. That is a negative.
Yeah, hit some chainmail, armor, whatnot. Anyone else have missile weapon or a spell? And you might have to jump in the water if you want to attack him. He's standing in it. You can tell it's about 3 feet deep.
I am. So our rest earlier, was that long enough for me to recover my spells?
Yep.
Okay. In that case, I am going to. Griffin's going to cast Fairy Fire to illuminate him and get a little bonus on
Right.
on the attack rolls.
And he'll be minus on his attack, right? Because it lights.
He won't be minus on his attack, but we'll have a bonus to hit.
Right. So you give out the incantations. Now, did you add your amount of segments it costs to cast a spell to your initiative roll?
I did not. It was a 3-segment casting time for Fairy Fire.
So then you would have a 5.
Yes.
So he gets to throw the spear before you cast the spell.
Okay.
Everyone else rolled? Everyone else went? So he's...
I'm sorry, when is the... I was in 3.
You stopped to go? Okay, so you tied him. Your actions are going coincidentally. Now, as I said, to attack him melee, you'll have to jump in the water unless you have a missile attack.
When you say jump in the water, is the ice still underneath? Would I have something to stand on, or?
No, the whole ice sheet tilted, slipped in the water, and bobbed off and floated away. It had its own momentum. And then he was underneath it, and then he came up. And the water wasn't that deep. It's like 3 feet deep. So he's standing there, and you guys are against the wall on the edge of the lake.
Okay, so if Merrick climbs in, Merrick could still stand.
Yep.
Okay, yes. Merrick's going to close and attempt to attack with his fists.
Okay, so yeah, you go in the water. He's pretty close. You get first attack. Go ahead. And his AC, as said, is 5. Pretty good AC.
That's a good AC.
That is a good AC. I'm like, wow.
So roll an attack of 14.
Now you need an unmodified 16 according to me.
Open hand versus chain. No problem.
Yeah. So you just get the one attack, right?
Correct.
Okay, so you try to hit him and he shrugs it, hits his chain. Ah, he grunts. He's pretty tough. You can tell he's an old grizzled
Well, does he?
warrior.
Does the +2 bonus from Fairy Fire? Oh wait, I haven't cast it yet. for
Yeah, it
Merrick.
hasn't actually gone
No,
out.
that yeah, you're just behind him with that
Keep it
by
Uh,
two
I'd
segments.
actually- yeah, I'd actually added in the +2 erroneously, so I'm actually at a 12, not a 14.
Oh, okay, so you came in there and whiff, whiff, whiff. Now I'm rolling for his attack. He's going to attack the monk who engaged with him.
I owe you one.
Oh, rat. So he connects with his spear for 3 points damage.
Ouch.
Ah, swing, and he's quicker than you think, and he's used to the water, and you're not. And he's, standing firm and swinging.
He's using his spear, just like thrusting it at the monk now instead of
Because he
thought
jumped
twice
him.
of throwing it.
So now your Fury Fire goes off. And we're at the next round. So everybody has to roll 10-sided again and minus their dexterity to that. And this creature gives out a gleeful shriek as he draws blood on the monk.
I'm gonna unleash a spell on him as well. So I'll add that as the number of segments that it takes to the 10-sided. Is that what it is?
Right.
Oh,
Yeah. So I rolled a 6. Griffin rolled a 10.
4.
Okay, so it's going to be, I rolled a 6.
I rolled a 5, subtract 2 from dex, add 1 for the 1 segment spell casting. So 4.
And okay, Merrick, what'd you get?
5 minus 1 for 4.
Okay, so we're going to have Vama's tied. Or Vama, you had 6?
I have a 4.
Right, okay, I got it backwards. That's 6 for Merrick, right?
4 for Merrick as well.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so you guys are going to go first. We're going to have Merrick, Vama go first, and then now this thing, I'll let you guys know, it is called it's an interesting creature. It's called a coelinth. Anyone know what a coelinth is?
No.
Vague lore by name only. Have no. Now I do. I
It's
know
a marine hobgoblin.
Oh man, he's gonna be a dead hobgoblin in a minute if he's not very nice with us.
Yeah, he's fighting good though. So go ahead, Merrick. You're there toe to toe with him, unless somebody has. Actually, your spell could take effect sooner if you'd like.
I'd rather the spell go first.
Are you sure?
Normally, yes.
Sleep
No.
spell. Whoosh! Directly on the coelinth. You're gonna be affected by it too.
Oh, you may be down. So it automatically works. So you mutter out the incantations for this sleep spell.
Mr. Sandman.
And Mr. Sandman, indeed. And they get no saving throw,
Correct.
right? So,
Right. Hit die wise, I don't know if you've got that open. I can check really quickly. Is that what it sounded like?
and he has 1 hit die, 1+1. So he slumps over in the water, but he's going to wake up pretty quick because he's in the water.
Yeah, right. So
Unless he kind of goes under, I'll roll a Constitution check, see if he kind of goes under. He might just drown.
does it affect the monk as well? No.
Yeah. The monk also slumps over asleep in the water. Unless you don't have immunity to sleep yet, right? Monks get that later.
I'm not even sure monks get that at all.
I think they do get it later. So maybe not. But anyway, it does affect you, Merrick. You both fall asleep. And Griffin, you're watching this. You see this new guy kind of
Whoosh like that. Okay, check it out.
Yeah.
Druid, it's you and
they
I.
both go to sleep, and he shrugs at you like.
So has Merrick has passed out in the water? Is he going under? I mean,
He'll have to make a Constitution check to see if the water wakes him up. Next
That
round.
coelinth is probably the toll keeper here. Those are big trouble. You wanna? I'm gonna dive into the water like that and try to.
And it's only like 3 feet deep. Like it's not that deep. 3 feet deep, waist deep. So you jump in, and you can reach Merrick pretty quick. He's right there, but you can see this koala thing kind of slumping, and its head's bobbing under the water, and there's bubbles and it's spitting and stuff. Of course,
He's got the fairy fire on him still too, right?
Yes, he does.
oh, he does. So he looks rather awkward.
Now, on reading the sleep spell, it appears that you can automatically slay one creature per round.
Yep. Coup de grace rule.
Yep.
Now I just rolled a save for the creature, and he hasn't woken up. Like this next round, he's still sputtering and rolling around in the water. Merrick, you can make your con save to see if the water wakes you up every round as long as you're in the water.
Rolled a 14, and I want to say my con, I believe, is a 12.
So you do not wake up. You're sputtering, but Vama's there, and he can lift you out of the water.
I want to
Now-
grab that thing and keep it under the water with my boot if I can.
Oh, I see.
Druid,
Okay.
help this guy. Help your friend.
Griffin is pulling Merrick out of the water.
Yeah, if Bearfin
Okay.
is helping him, I want to disarm
Merrick's
this guy.
sputtering,
keep
and
him
okay,
underneath.
so you help Merrick out. It's not that deep, so you grab him, and he's trying to wake up, and he's sputtering and rolling around, and you see the other guy, Vama's in there, and he's just puts his fist down on this. You want to just try hold him underwater?
I'm gonna. God, oh, you're putting me into this bad place, man. What do you guys? I want to hold him out of the water. I'm gonna put my boot on his neck, underneath that water, with my short sword, ready to thrust into him if he struggles.
Right.
But I'm not
Yeah.
gonna stab him yet.
I already rolled for this round. He still flounders. Next round, you just hold him under. So you could have struck, but you're just going to hold him.
Mhm.
And he is not able to recover. You see, he goes still, and the bubbles stop. And,
Fair enough.
But
How are you guys doing? Hey, Vama will look up to you guys like to see.
Griffin has Merrick seated up on dry land, basically trying to shake him awake.
okay, make a surprise roll, Vama. Die 6.
Any modification?
And you
Nope.
hear this laughter behind you.
Damn it.
A marine
5.
hobgoblin. You think you can drown a marine hobgoblin?
5.
But he doesn't have a spear in his hand. Okay, so you guys tied. You're not surprised. He's not surprised. You're both.
Right.
Yeah, now we roll initiative because he's back. He's standing up. He spits out some water, streams it out. Psst, you fool. Marine hobgoblin.
I knew I couldn't drown him. I just didn't want to
Oh,
kill him.
nice.
Oh.
So roll a 10-sided, everybody. Here we go. He's quick. He
4.
did a pretty good roll. That's a 4 for Vama.
Wait, he's still under my boot though, right? I mean, he didn't squirm away.
No, you gave up. You were kind of like, he's a goner, and you pushed him off, and you were kind of
When the bubble
turning
stops,
back. But he was just sitting under the water looking up at you with squinty eyes, waiting until you let go. He specifically waited till you let go.
Oh, fair
pushed
enough,
away.
fair enough.
So I need a roll from Griffin.
Griffin got a 5.
Okay, and then Merrick, you got a
2.
2. Now, this creature is going to try and grab you, Vama, and pull you into the water. And however, Merrick gets to go first, and then Vama and he tied. He rolled a 4 as well. So we'll see what Merrick does first. Merrick, you just managed to wake up, spit water out, and you hear this hideous creature chuckling, and Vama he's beside you, and this creature's out in the water, and he's reaching for Vama.
Merrick's going to close again and attempt to hit him again.
Okay, try this again. Go ahead then and roll. You need your
This guy is tenacious as hell. Doesn't he know when to give up?
whatever your bonus is. Your 16 is unmodified. But he is lit up now. He actually is still sparkling, right, from that?
Yep, he would still be.
Okay, so that kind of gave you guys the edge. I was going to give you a +1 on your initiative as well, so that would give Vama, that would actually give you a 3 instead of a 4, which would break that tie, and that would make Griffin tie him with a 4. All right, so anyway, you get your +2 on your roll. That's a hit then, I guess, because you needed a 16.
The +2's factored in.
Okay, that is a miss. Now it is Griffin's turn. I give you guys the benefit of the tie at this point.
Griffin will try to hit him with his staff.
Okay. Little spell, sleep spell. Darn, wasted it.
It wasn't a waste. It was the good alignment that wasted it, man.
True.
When one is attacked,
That's miserable.
Oh, did you whiff?
Yeah, well, it was a 3. So.
Gotcha.
I didn't
Oh,
think
no.
he was so tenacious about this. He knows he's outnumbered. He could have given up.
Well, there's a little bit of story to this guy. It's pretty interesting. So Merrick went, Griffin went, Vama. Did you go yet?
No, I haven't rolled anything yet.
Okay, so this thing, it's coming towards you, and you're like, ah.
His armor class is 5, you said?
Yeah.
16, short sword versus chain, whatever. Here we go. I need a 16 unless otherwise noted. I'll tell you my raw die roll. 15.
Oh, no. So he just deflects that, and we're on to the next roll, next round. So roll 10-sided, do your dexterity check. And I'm making a morale check, actually, here. Now, morale check, you have to roll... I forgot, you got your morale... You want to roll over your morale number, right?
I don't recall.
I
can look it up if you want. I'll try. I got a 0 for the initiative, though.
I got a 9, so...
Oh, 0, nice. So you definitely first. Oh, 9 for Merrick.
8 for Griffin.
8 Griffin, and I'll roll a 3. Man, I'm rolling pretty good. All right, so this stubborn creature, that AC it has. Yikes. However, Vama, you're first, no matter what, with that 0. And then it's going to be its turn. So it's still trying to grab you and wrestle with you.
His spear is gone, though, right? At least
it is gone. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So
he's not armed.
This is a little better as far as wounding goes. I'm going to just rail right into him as much as I can using my short sword with both hands.
And you get +2 for the Fury Fire.
All right, cool. Oh, my last one with +2 Fairy Fire would have gotten it then. Damn it, Janet. I rolled 1 under. I rolled a 15 of 16.
Oh, right, yeah.
I just gave you my unmodified die roll. I'm sorry. If you do what you want with it.
No, that would have been a hit, definitely.
I'm sorry, I didn't know what to factor in on that. So.
And you would have done 4 damage, it says there. But, okay, so we'll say you hit it, but you didn't kill it, that 4 damage.
All right, well, I'll roll right now, and I'll add 2 to my die roll then, correct?
Yep.
Okay, here we go.
Let's check the hit points again. Okay, yeah.
Miss. 8.
Okay, it did take damage there, though. You did 4 damage. Ouch. Okay. And then I'll make another morale check shortly. And that actually, I think he failed his morale check. He rolled really, really low. And that wound would have sent him scurrying back in the water. It does say here that he is a bit cowardly.
Yeah, it says you have to roll. Morale is below whatever their current morale is. You have to roll percentile below it.
Oh, so he passed.
Oh.
The higher the roll, the worse it is.
Yeah, that's right. No, he definitely passed, and he is hurt.
Bastard.
But he's still fighting. Oh boy. Okay, so
he's mad.
So you just went again.
He's indignant.
And you missed, and then that was him. Now it's his turn. He's going to try to grapple you, and he rolls a 6, and he totally misses. He just reaches and tries to grab you and pull you back. And then now we move quickly to Griffin's turn, and you guys are now, it's I think, a bit of a hack fest on this guy. I'm not sure if you have.
It is.
Okay, well, let's go.
It
So
is a
Griffin,
hack fest.
go for it. You need to get
Are
your.
you kidding me?
Uh-oh. An
No,
8. All right, go ahead, Merrick.
yes.
You're there, swinging away. This thing's hurt. He took a piece of it with his sword.
I don't know why he's still fighting, but we know how it's going to end.
Merrick rolled a.
Oh no.
Is it a 4? No, it's
2.
glitched. Yeah,
Oh, is it
glitched.
rolling 2s again. Remember it did that last time?
Yeah, so / roll d20 plus 2.
Yeah, I would just roll it.
21.
You can use the die check there thing. Oh, that's a nice hit. So roll your damage. What is your damage for a first level monk again?
D3 plus 1.
Okay. This thing has 3 hit points left.
Come on.
So you got 50-50 chance. You come in there, I can do this.
Let's do it.
Bam!
Merrick spins around and plants an elbow
Oh.
firmly into the forehead of the creature.
Oh, indeed. And this time you hear a bit of a sickening crunch, and its eyes roll up in its head, and this thing this time slumps backward in the water, and well, its eyes don't shut. You're pretty sure it's a goner. Oh boy, well done, you guys. Oh my God, we got him. We got him. That's 34 experience points shared. Figured he'd be tougher than that, but he was just tenacious. Yeah.
Just because can Vama take that last?
Well, I mean, kudos
right in
for
his chest.
you did the right thing. You didn't. Well, sometimes you got to pull a Conan and kill him.
This is no Conan, but this time I'm going to put that sword in where I should have before.
Oh yeah, and
Like that.
he's dead, and you're all standing around him, and the water's got a bit of blood in it and whatnot. And then he look at this thing, and he's dead. He's dead, and you
Eric's
stick it
gonna-
once more.
Merrick fishes the body out of the water and attempts to look for the spear.
And those goldies, huh?
Yeah, that's true, and you can find his spear.
Excellent. Is there anything else in the immediate area?
His spear is made of bone inlaid with mother of pearl.
Wow, fancy.
It's really nice. It's actually worth some money. And it's apparently this guy was at one point might have been an important person in his tribe or something, because he still wears the gold armbands of office. And they're worth some money each. They're worth 30 gold pieces each. There's 3 on each arm.
Wow. Let's
So-
drag this guy up onto the
That's 180 gold pieces worth of these metal or gold bracelets.
There's 3 of them? Hey, there's 3 of us.
On each arm. There were 30 gold pieces each. You can just tell by the gold weight value, and just, yeah, they must be about 20, 30 gold pieces each.
And the-
Imagine if each of us is wearing 1 on each arm and we see another hobgoblin. They look at us. We're all wearing badges of office.
Also,
the
he
spear.
has a ring on, and it's
Okay.
made from a red, appears to be some sort of red metal. And it's got this motif of sort of flames on it. Circle it. And attached to his belt is a silver amulet in the form of a writhing snake.
That's interesting.
Huh.
We've got him
Now-
up on the side of the like he's not in the water now. Where he's
Yeah, you
got
dragged
laid
him up out of the water, and you guys are shivering and stuff. The water's pretty still, actually surprisingly nice here. Like, you knew it was freaking cold up above, but something has warmed it up. And oh, and by the way, about now you would hear another popping sound. Loud, loud expulsion of air.
Just think there is geothermal activity here, huh? Keeps everything a bit warm.
Could be.
And it might be warming up the lake even a bit, enough that when it spills over the edge, it feeds this wetlands.
Did we notice how cold was the water when we were in it? Was it warmer than we would have expected near the bottom, or?
Yeah, right now it is warmer than you expected because it was so cold up top. But so maybe underwater, feed some hot water or something's feeding underwater.
Just because this guy is a water goblin, it doesn't necessarily mean he can't freeze to death. So it's probably not that inhospitable.
Mm-hmm. And that's what he has on his person. You don't know where his cave is or something. Probably underwater. I mean, it's hard to say. You don't see anything in sight. No tracks. He seems to be this lonely. He's quite old. You could tell he was quite old. At one point, he might have been important. He was probably thrown out of his clan because he got too old or something.
Merrick gathers up the items from him and asks, do you mind if I keep this spear?
Not at all.
Yeah, you need a weapon anyways. Grandma's going to take a little eyebrow raise at the collecting the items, i.e. putting everything that looks valuable into a sack somewhere. This is good. Yeah, we'll take care of that later, huh?
Yes.
What about the fire?
He's good for it.
We're all good for it, aren't we?
So relative to where we are now, can we get on over to an edge of the area here where we might be able to find a little more? I know we're not going to find shelter really, but just some cover against the edge over on the right.
We might want a fire to dry off at some time too.
Yeah, it's not as cold as it was above, and you guys have moved about 1.5 miles. You were almost getting close to the other side of the lake where you could go around the edge of it, and you can see at the other side of the lake now that the river is fed from the waterfall from above, the first tier, but it's also, there's a secondary smaller river that feeds into it, comes out of the opposite side of the valley, and it's a lot warmer. You can see there's steam coming off it, a little bit of steam coming off it and whatnot. And you guys can now keep going around the lake, and you can probably, it's an hour's gone by, in another hour you could be around toward the other side of the original waterfall, that long one. It looks relatively safe in the area where you'd skirt the outside of the lake. And yeah, that's what you see. Now, you can still head back at this point, and you would be back at the fork in about an hour, or you can go forward for an hour and reach the other side of the lake. Cross, probably, it looks like there's some sort of bridge mechanism or some sort of crossing where the river feeds into this lake.
I don't see a reason to turn back now. Do you, Merrick?
No.
See no reason whatsoever. We should make as much distance as we can while it's still safe. And
Sure.
while it's still safe, and if we're going to make a fire, I don't know if we need one or not, but it would be nice. We should have sunk that body though, huh? We should have sunk it.
Watery grave.
So Griffin looks at Merrick and says, "So he's good, eh?"
So
just keep on looking.
you guys keep going. Original plan, then move on.
Merrick mumbles under his breath. At least he's not constantly carrying on about Cuthbert.
Good call.
Oh man, okay.
Now, quick question about the ring. You scoop that up and check it out later or whatever?
Well, can we appraise any of this stuff at this point? Or
Yeah, the gold is pretty straightforward. The ring, you could roll if one of you has scholarly background check, you could make a kind of a quick guess. You can always put it on. I mean, it's hard to tell what it is without having some sort of specialist look at it or something. Go ahead, though, if anyone has a magic background, roll an intelligence check.
I'll take that. Ooh, 15 is a success on a d20.
So yeah, you discern that this probably is magical. You just tell by the quality of the make and the fact that when you look at it closely, the red metal seems to have a inner light to it, unmistakable.
It's just not hobgoblin make, huh? This is not goblin. A question,
No.
technical one. Does the aquatic hobgoblin speak the same language as hobgoblin?
Yep.
Oh, good. At least both of the half elves understand that language, anyways. But this is not of the goblin make. This ring. This is something special. Toss
And
it back to the monk.
And you suspect it might have been dwarven make, and it might have been a relic from perhaps these inhabitants of this valley. That, remember, they had built stuff there, and at one point they had been.
It even looked like the ruins that we were on at the end of the causeway
We're also dwarven, yeah.
were possibly of dwarven construction.
Mm-hmm.
Might be more of
From
that.
a distance, but still, yeah.
Do you think this self-styled gatekeeper has been down there?
Hard to say. He seemed, yeah. It appears he seemed like he'd been on his own for a long time.
Apparently, because he's lost his caution.
Yeah. And so you guys are ready to move on, and you're sticking with plan A as far as I know, right? You're just going to go around the side. Okay, so you spend an hour going around the edge of the lake, and you find an area to cross where the river fed into it on the northwest edge, and you cross on the other side, and lo and behold, you do find an area where there's a valley to your left in which there appears to be some sort of natural phenomenon. It goes off about every 10 minutes or so. It expels just a huge geyser of superheated water into the air. And you guys cautiously skirt that area to your left, unless you want to go into it, but it looks, the view is iffy and it looks really hot. And there might be an area sort of behind, like there's a bit of a ravine that goes off into the northeast. And it's possible you could go that way and check it out. But as far as you know, it's clear sailing now on the other side of the lake. And you figure within a half an hour, you could get to the other side of that big waterfall you guys were looking across.
How are we all doing on our actual conditions? I'm low on hit points and I don't have any magic. How are the rest of you?
Griffin is okay.
Merrick took some damage.
Yeah, Merrick is down 3 hit points, 5 remaining.
Well, if we're this close to being on the other side of the lake, maybe we should just go ahead and complete that and possibly backtrack in the morning if we want to explore a little more, or go on down to the causeway, whichever one. How's that sound?
I think that sounds like a good idea. Let's keep our eye on that immediate causeway goal, unless we have reason to think otherwise.
Right.
So you guys let the valley go for now, and you're like, okay, perhaps there's something there, perhaps not, and you go by it, and you continue around the northeast side now of the lake, and you're on the other side, and you come around, and sure enough, a half hour later, half hour later, you reach the other side of the waterfall, and now you suddenly have a view again, because you come around this lip, and there's the waterfall, and you come out on the other side, and if you want, you can look at that map again now, and we'll reference it. You are now on the other side of the waterfall. You can see there is a trail that immediately goes down beside the waterfall, zigzags down into the marshes. And as far as you can tell, that's all there is you can see at the moment. You thought you saw trails on the side of the cliff, but now that you're here, you don't see them.
Does it still look like, can Griffin still think he picks out some solid pathways through the marsh now that we're closer?
Yes.
We're on the side. Okay.
And you figured there's probably a good 2 hours of light left, probably more. You made good time. despite the fight, and there's still daylight. Probably hold for probably 2 or 3 hours. It'll take you a good hour to go down this trail, you think, to the bottom of the waterfall.
By sunset, we'll be somewhere crossing the marsh, provided that we don't run into any trouble.
Right.
Yeah.
Or maybe at the bottom of the waterfall and we
And
camp
then,
Maybe camp there.
yeah, and unless you want to carry on through the dark, of course. But
Through a
that's-
marsh on dodgy tracks with no light. Yeah.
dangerous
no
there, yeah.
information.
That's true.
Maybe let's descend and get as close to the marsh area as possible, and maybe we would find a dry area and a
Right.
sheltered area, and wait till morning there.
if we can make it to the bottom of the waterfall, I would count that as a success for the next couple hours.
Mhm,
Okay.
yeah.
Now it's a bit rough going, but there is a trail that zigzags down, and once in a while it goes closer to the waterfall, and other times you find yourself going off toward away from the waterfall, and there's 1 or 2 dead ends, but so far things are going well. You're probably about 3/4 of the way down, and you come to an area where the trail heads back toward the waterfall, and in fact there's a bit of a part of the water falls into a little grotto, and in this grotto the trail goes along the edge of a little kind of pool that collected there before it meanders off and joins the main waterfall. Now I just have a picture to show you. You start to hear, before that happens though, oh yeah, the waterfall's off to your side. And just bear with me for 1 minute.
Okay. Hey, I'm going to take a really quick bio. I'll be right back.
Oh yeah, by the way, guys, let's take a battle break here, 5 minutes.
Okay.
And
All right, cool. Battle
And-
break, damn it.
yeah, cool guys. No, glad. Yeah. All right, Kat, look out. I gotta be back.
Cool. BRB.
Okay, I'm back.
Same.
And thanks for coming out again tonight, guys. Appreciate that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're just getting things going. It's too bad Cliff and who else are we missing here? Ralph didn't make it. I'm not sure what went on there.
That was gonna be
They
very
knew.
tricky to see how, like, if they reconvene again, like, did they get split up in the
Yeah, exactly.
tunnel or whatnot?
Well,
Jeez, man, this just before is the druid back yet? I'm sorry, I don't know anybody's actual personal names. I forget really rapidly.
Briffin is the druid. Yeah, that's Joe.
Okay, well, if we got a second or whatever, I just want to say, like, it seems like we're going to have to adopt a very interesting strategy here in this. We're just trying to get out of these valleys, and the lower we go, at least the more hospitable the terrain gets. But it looks like, unless we're careful, we're going to get whittled away.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
And hang in there, guys. You're doing good. And I realize we got in a bit of a snag and a dead end or two, but trust me, there's some lights in the tunnel up ahead and such. And I have there's interesting encounters coming up. This part of the valley is pretty intense, so
We're just going to have to be very, very careful about, like, even this guy. Okay, the toll collector. He made the first move and he made the second move, and he had a chance to not do it. He was on our blood. He wanted to fight, and he did.
Oh,
and
yeah. And I rolled a morale check as well for him,
but he knew he was up against bad odds. But the thing is that little things like that are going to start shaving us real thin right now. Like that sleep spell is the only magic that I have, and it's gone until we can rest again. The druid says he's doing okay, but at least you have a spear to fight with now, right? Are you proficient in spear?
Of course not. Which
Excellent.
is odd because a spetum is basically a spear.
Wait, you have to be proficient in specific pole arms. Like if you have spetum, you don't have glaive, quiz armor, halberd.
Oh yeah, the AD&D system is pretty limiting for players.
Let's petition the DM about that one, would you? I would say they're all pole arms, right? Including a spear, technically.
Okay, do you guys see my...
Ooh, a nereid.
Actually...
Sorry.
Yeah, I think you're exposing your screen there on your chat window.
Yeah, I meant to do that for a minute.
Ooh, that's pretty.
But it's also in the Roll20.
Mm-hmm.
I posted it.
Yes, you see it in Roll20.
Now, what you do see is this weird sight indeed. Joe's not here yet. Oh, pardon me. But just I'll let you guys know that just this side of the broad falls, which plummet from the lake above, is a gentler cascade. And I just have to turn this down a little bit. Its crystal waters split and recombine, spilling over rocks to fall splashing in the swirling pools below. There's no spill and fall again. Your path leads toward the waterfall as you draw near. A slim woman rises smiling from one of the pools, her hair and robes flowing as it forms around the tumbling water. And she doesn't seem to attack or have any aggression, but she's standing there and has a benign expression on her face as her hair seems to flow around her body and back into the water.
It's all the same with you guys. I'm not going to get any closer to the water than I am right now.
The trail forces you to go by this little grotto. Like you have to go around the edge of it and to continue, and it goes near and she's standing about 15 feet from the trail, or sitting kind of now in the rocks, and she's quite beautiful and impressive. Yeah, it's the picture.
Does she seem to be aware of our presence?
Yeah, she's looking at you, and you're about 50 feet away. Oh, that cat scared me. And you're about 50 feet away, but she doesn't seem scared of you at all. And it's quite a moment. It's catching you off guard.
Hmm.
Do you want to go closer? You guys kind of stop because you're like, whoa, look at this. You're like, wow.
Who's got the highest charisma in the group?
Griffin does. He's got a 17.
You're
Well,
the
I'm
guy.
guessing he does.
That's a pretty good guess. And you're a druid as well.
Right. So I was going to ask, Darren, is there any chance that Griffin might have some sort of wisdom about this sort of creature or not?
Well, you
Being
can
a
roll,
druid
but it's
and-
going to be a plus 10 roll. It's really hard.
Okay. Well, we're going to give it a
Or
shot.
plus 8 roll, pardon me.
Better than +7. No. Worse than +7.
Okay, come on. Roll 20 is lagging for me. Just a moment. Well, I rolled a 14 with a 17 charisma.
So you rolled a 14. No, that's a fail.
No, that fail still.
And you're all a bit in awe a bit. It's a pretty beautiful woman, but she seems to be waiting for you to come forward. Like she kind of looks up a bit and you see her give a bit of a giggle. She flicks her feet in the water.
Why don't the monk and I hang back, and the druid, without weapons in hand, just move forward a bit more? You could at least be our charismatic representative.
That is true. That is true.
The closer
So Griffin,
the closer Vama moves towards this, the less she's going to like us. So,
Right. Okay, so
in that case,
go ahead. Then you're going to do this plan.
yeah,
Send the druid
Griffin's
in.
going to edge closer to
yeah, just to move forward.
see if I can. Yeah. You said we're about 50 feet away.
Yep. Yeah, you weren't that far away. Like it was like, whoa, where'd she come from? She kind of floated out of the waters onto the rock. It was like, ooh.
Well, then Griffin will edge forward about 20 feet, so he's about 30 feet away from her.
And she
try
looks
to,
at you.
try to hail her.
She looks over your shoulder at the other guys a bit and gives another giggle, but then she looks right at you and speaks in a voice that carries beyond, though. Ah. And she holds up her hand. Do you stop or?
Yeah, I'll stop.
And she takes a couple steps toward you and also looks over your shoulder again. And then she goes, young as a spring, old as time, often falls, cannot climb, always rushing, never still, in a bed, never ill. And she gives out a chuckle. An inquisitive look. What's your name? It gives out another chuckle.
Griffin will bow at the waist and say, Griffin Milkeye. And you would be?
Chuckle, chuckle, chuckle. I'm the one who asks the riddles. Young as spring, old as time, often falls, cannot climb, always rushing, never still, in a bed, never ill.
So, Bama and Merrick can't hear me, or are they're too far away to participate in this conversation, or can they?
Yeah, can
They
we
hear her voice. It carries.
Vama
And
will
it's a
whisper.
rich voice. Now, I can post this, to be fair.
Vama whispers, river, a river.
And her head cocks to the side immediately. Ah, you're right. You may pass. And she sits back on a rock and giggles with her feet in the water. And she kind of motions with her arm down the trail.
You're sharing your screen, just so you know.
Thank you.
And I have to get my screen working.
What does she speak of? But she says we can pass?
She said, "You may pass." You must have solved the riddle. When you
I
muttered,
turn in motion to the other guys. Come on.
Yeah. What would have happened if we didn't get it?
I don't want to know.
Okay, let's move.
and as you get closer to the grotto and nearer to the waterfall, you can now hear the waterfall in the distance, and you can hear maybe even some sort of little laughter. And I guess who would be last and who would be first?
Well, I'm guessing that Griffin is first at the moment.
Yeah, and he walks by and gets close to the river and turns around a corner and starts to go. And the next character and the last character is splashed with a bunch of water.
No, I guess it would be me. Like you want to do it that way? Monk in the front, Druid in the middle, and the
Right.
Yeah,
right.
it just drenches you, and you hear a little bit of laughter again.
I look back. Did it come from that gal?
And the girl's just laughing. She's probably a little too far away to splash you or something, but she just kind of she's covering her mouth and she's looking around. And
I chuckle too and keep, if that's her way of flirting, I might as well smile, acknowledge, and keep moving.
you guys get through, and you slip further down and that was just a very strange experience, frankly.
I think the last thing, like I might wave or something and like just do an awkward nod, like, cool.
And you guys, sense there was something going on there, and maybe one day come back and discover what thing was there. This girl, last thing you saw of her, she was kind of blowing you kisses, and and you guys continue down beside the waterfall.
Wait, guys. She said she asks the riddles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did we just solve a riddle?
I thought that's why she let us pass, yeah.
So now maybe you ask question again. Who is she?
Merrick, having been celibate for quite some time, just awkwardly mills around.
Well, you're past. I mean,
just
she did ask the same riddle twice.
yeah. Maybe she's one-dimensional. Who is she? Maybe she knows how to get out of here. Maybe she knows who lives down there. What to expect further down valley?
You think she'd answer anything?
We answered her.
She didn't. Yeah, but she didn't seem to want to answer me. We can go back.
Let's go forward.
You're still dripping wet. You're pretty close to the bottom. Like, and the temperature has gone up to, it's probably 20 degrees or more, well, Celsius. So that's nice room temperature and getting warmer. You're probably a couple hundred feet above the bottom of that big valley. And you guys proceed forward for about another half an hour. And you figure there's maybe 2 hours of light left if you're lucky. It's pretty long days still. It's fall, but it's still hanging on. And you come down and you notice right away the foliage and whatnot changes, and the very atmosphere and the smells. And you can hear like crickets and birds chirping. And up ahead, you see a large plain, a marsh plain, spread out as the trail you're on zigzags and then goes down and hits what might have been originally an actual road. But now it's mostly been buried in the swamp, and it goes sort of straight southeast, directly into the marshes. To your right, the river spills in all these different it breaks apart on all these rocks and different spillways and spreads apart in about a 1.5 mile area and disappears into this wetland, which you guys are just about to enter. And it's you recognize off the trail, like as you come down into the firmer on the trail, but on the edges it gets really squishy and iffy. It moves off straight ahead, the trail, southeast, into the marsh.
That's all we got. Do you want to make camp here?
Well, at this point now, we still have a couple hours left. Or are we down to about an hour before nightfall?
About 2 hours.
I don't know why I'm so hesitant to be caught at nightfall in the marsh.
No,
Something doesn't seem right about that.
I agree. That seems particularly hazardous without being at full strength.
Yeah, I'm just thinking everything. Mosquitoes, serpents, loud frogs. I don't know. Where it's spongy ground.
Right.
What are we going to sleep under? Our cloaks? Or we can press on. But do we have anything to navigate by night with down here to give us an indication? I mean, there's one road, right? Or it's basically a spongy trail that goes through the marsh.
An unfamiliar territory.
Right. My guess, though, is that because there was a clear trail that was coming down from the cliffs that we followed, and it was a clear trail. Trails aren't accidental. Somebody carved this. And it seems to be going towards that area. This might be an old dwarven road, which means that it's probably not going to have a lot of detours or twists, knowing what I know about dwarves.
Yep, and good call. Like it appears that way, but long overgrown, of course, but seems pretty solid and passable. And you could venture into the swamp, but I wouldn't recommend it. And you can probably make pretty good movement on this causeway.
I just assume camp for literally camp for the night. See if we can get some firewood together and make a small fire and dry our stuff off and get a few hours of rest anyhow.
Right.
I would like to, I'd like to get my spells back again.
That would take 4 hours.
If we find ourselves that restless, as long as we can stay, keep half an ear on the environment around us. If we get restless, we can start moving again.
I'll assume you're going to put up watches then. Well, let's do this. Okay. So you guys do find the best spot as you can. It's a little ways back, a little ways up the trail where it was really quite dry, and it was a bit hidden in the nook valley, not quite exposed. And that's sort of your best call, unless you want to go in the swamp.
No.
No, it sounds good to me.
Even with infravision, what are we going to do? Detect reptiles? Nope.
Yep.
Yeah, let's get together. Can we get together a little bit of firewood and kindling? If possible, I'd like to do something.
Yep, for sure.
Maybe we can have a better look at that ring and the other the gold accoutrements, and even like that beautiful little mother of pearl action on that spear.
You guys settle in and get yourselves a nice little nook set up and a small little fire with the least smoke as possible. In fact, any you have like outdoor skills, I bet the druid who doesn't like fire. I don't know how you play that one.
Well, it's a necessary evil.
Right.
In some instances.
Are you vegetarian?
No, but he's not an active carnivore. If he's foraging, he's not hunting.
So he knows his place in nature and the balance and.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you guys have a few rations left over still. Now, I'm not sure how many you had, but if all three of you have been eating, you got to keep track. That's 3 rations each gone.
I have 0. I have no food at all. We're going to have to do something about this.
Well, Griffin had a week's worth of rations, which he'd say he'd already had a day's worth gone, so he's got 6 days worth left.
Good share.
Exactly.
Picked up a week's worth of rations out of the rock net.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
All
Right, and you
then.
shared one serving of that earlier, didn't you?
Correct. We each had one, so we'll call it 21 servings. So I'd be down to 19.
Okay, so you guys, okay. I was wondering if you guys were getting short. So you guys are doing okay. You guys eat, quick meal. Check out what you found recently. I guess you're being cautious though, watching around,
Yeah.
and start to rest. And yeah, you check out the ring. You can't really decipher much more of that. You're pretty sure it's magical, and it's weird made out of a strange red metal. If you had a dwarf or gnome, you might be able to recognize it maybe, unless you guys had background and mineral knowledge. But
Does it fit in any of our fingers? You want to give it a go? It's got a flame motif on it. I'm going to guess the druid doesn't care for it.
It'll fit on your finger, all right.
Let me have a look at it. Let me have a look at it. I want to slip it on a finger, whatever finger will fit on the my offhand.
Yeah, you being a half elf, it probably fit one of your larger fingers. And it slips on, and there's a tingle goes through your body. And immediately, like it was getting chilly as it got darker, and you were find yourself huddling by the fire, but immediately you feel yourself very comfortable, like warm, in fact, comfortable. And it's obvious that the ring's property is doing that.
So, like, if I take it off, then I feel myself get cooler again.
Yeah. Ooh, you're like, whoa.
Put it back on, I feel it get warmer again.
Oh yeah, and you feel nice, and you stand up, move away from the fire a bit, and they're watching you and kind of smirking a bit, and like yeah, I feel just body temperature. It's weird.
Whichever one of them is nearer to me, I want to flick it to him like a coin. Hey, check this out.
Merrick, you're there. You happen to be there, and you grab it, and you want to put it on.
Yeah, Merrick will try it on.
Yeah, indeed, it's really quite neat. Suddenly, you're not, you meet a monk, you're not wearing much or whatnot, and you're stoic, but even now you're like, whoa, this is decadent. It feels
like you're all wrapped up in flannel, doesn't it? Hey, it's good.
And it's magical, and it must keep you warm.
Okay.
So far as what it does so far. You don't seem to need any heat source or anything. You can walk out and even go out in the wind around the corner, and it's like you don't feel a thing. It's like, wow, I feel great. Like teeth should be chattering, sort of.
So you want to throw dice for it, huh? He gestures with his hand. Okay, I'll take that back. Thank you.
Merrick passes it back.
You got that spear. Maybe the druid gets twice his share in gold for this one, Well, it does have a flame motif, and you did mention that you don't like fire.
True.
Well, Merrick's going to ask if the other two, if Velma can take a look at the other two items.
What else was there?
The bone spear inlaid with mother of pearl and a silver amulet in the form of a writhing snake.
The amulet, right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's take a look at that a bit more, right? Didn't
looks more natural, this one, not clearly. It looks a bit rustic.
What is the snake in a circle? Is it biting its own tail? Is it just a spiral? What's it doing?
It's a riding snake, I think.
Writhing. How does one writhe in a jewelry
Back and forth. It means like it's going back and forth. It's like a zigzag.
So
Head at one end. It reminds you of the river as it flows
That's
out.
exactly what I'm catching on to. Yeah. How does it?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, good call.
Pass that one over to the druid right away, huh?
By the way, you guys get 1,000 experience points for that item to share.
Oh.
And
Nice.
there's only 3 of you.
So we've got this divvied up quite nice, and the druid gets that, hold on to that serpent amulet. Seems
Yeah,
right.
I'm
Hold
going
on to the
to.
ring, spear, and then those bracelets. There's 6 of them, right? 2 each. To distribute the
Yep.
weight evenly, of course.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Of course. Yeah, is everyone sort of okay with that? And so I just rolled a couple times for some, and that was the 3rd hour.
Oh,
And
fuck. Right.
the 4th hour is ticking by, and you guys have been resting and getting your spells back. So you carefully taking turns on watch. You don't have much time to do anything else. You can't go explore because you're all resting or on watch. And the person, when you're on your turns at watch, you'd go to the edge and check out the swamp a bit, but it looked kind of creepy now. It's going to be like 2 in the morning when you guys, after 4 hours. You guys want to rest longer?
How exhausted are we?
That will give you a rest. That will give you enough to get going again.
What about hit point regeneration for the wounded?
Now here's the hitch. Yeah, you've reached the point where you've made a hit point back an hour, so you got 4 hit points back. Everybody's got that right now.
Cool, I'm at max.
For every hour now you rest, you get a hit point plus your Constitution bonus.
I think we should rest at least until sunrise.
That would be another 3 hours-ish, you estimate, the Druid.
Well, knowing the
Okay.
way humans, the monk is human, obviously, right?
Correct.
Mhm.
What's your visibility like down here? It's 2 o'clock in the morning. We're in the middle of the marshes. How far can you see?
About yay far.
And we're waiting. Then we're waiting
Yeah.
till morning. You know.
Okay,
That's it.
all right. And you have torches, but yeah, it's tricky. Best.
Yeah.
So another 2 hours goes by.
Oh, you know what I'd like to do in the meanwhile, though? I mean, like, really, if we're all kind of rested up, it might be nice to.
Well, you want to get more hit points back. You
I only
can't
have
do
one
anything.
lost. But I'd like to collect rushes. Maybe we can make some rush torches that we might need later.
I have
Okay.
2 torches.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
All right. Well, then, so little
Now,
energy.
does anyone need to rest up for more hit points back? Because you have 4 from the 4 hours.
No, I'm full hit points.
Full?
Okay. Now I rolled for every hour there, by the way, just outside the box, I rolled for a random encounter. And it just failed to roll that die, so nothing showed up. And you see the sun come up, and it just gives enough, the light starts to creak into the valley, and it starts to come, the sounds come alive again, and you guys have the marsh in front of you, and the sun's coming up, and this beautiful panorama. You don't have that much of it. Well, you can't see that far from here. I should correct that. Yeah, so you guys can proceed on into the marsh, I guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna bite to eat and swig off the last of the water skins, if any, and
So you head back to that spot where the sort of the ancient dwarven way went into the marshes and just went into the creepers and so on.
oh, my spell, I rememorized sleep spell, by the way, for which spell is memorized.
Handy spell to have. Does anybody else have any spells they changed or whatnot?
Griffin is he has Entangle and Shillelagh. Yep.
Ooh. Now, Shillelagh, do you cast that in advance?
Basically, that is
You make
it's
your
casting
own.
time of 1 segment. So basically, cast it and make your own weapon, or
Right.
it enchants your current weapon. So my
Right.
staff at that point would become a magical weapon.
Nice.
Cool.
So
When did we wait? Larrick's going to see if he can fashion that bone spear with the head of his broken spetum.
Oh, wow. Well, you
Nice
guys had
hack.
crafting. One of you had crafting background of some sort. Did your history, because you don't have tools or anything here. You don't have the equipment. It would be hard to fix that weapon.
I'll keep the spear as is. Were we able to get any sort of sense of value from the amulet or the spear itself?
Oh,
Yeah, the spear you thought might be worth like 40 gold pieces.
Okay.
Pretty nice. And the amulet, hard to tell. You can't estimate the value of it right now.
I'll tell you what. The more you use it in combat, the less value it's gonna have.
Possibly.
It's gonna get all janked up.
So who's first again? We're going to move with.
It's our marching order.
Yeah, a single file marching order. We seem to keep the monk in front, druid in the middle, and
Right.
the fighter magic user in the rear, maybe with a 10-foot gap between each of us. Right. That's our single file run.
Yeah, Merrick, Griffin, Bama.
Right. And so you guys are going to. Well, you have nowhere else to go, so you're forced to kind of head onto this causeway, and you guys move forward and start making your way through the swamp, being cautious, and of course. And so you're going normal speed. You're not rushing anything, and it gets sort of muggy and humid right away, and the sounds and the insects start bugging you. There's mosquitoes and other horseflies and whatnot trying to take flesh. But you persevere, and after about an hour or so, you realize that you're deep into the marsh swamp, about an hour and a half or so. Causeway is still steady on though, and then it turns subtly to the south. And you almost slipped and went off the side, but you found your footing again. The druid kind of said, "Oh, no, watch it go this way," and you pull off and move ahead. One momento. The marsh is dank and misty, and it's a bummer the ranger isn't here, so it was handy to have one of them with you in here. The marsh is a little less boggy here. You notice when it turns after shortly, it goes about a couple hundred feet, but still you must peer hard through the clean mist to see the way ahead. A breath of wind clears the mist for a minute, and it reveals a half a dozen or more of these lizard-like creatures. They're squatting on their hind legs and hissing in a coarse, inhuman tongue. And they're not really huge, maybe the size of a human, maybe a bit smaller. They look like standing upright kind of lizards, and they're guttering to each other, but they kind of spot you as the wind just blows across and clears the mist, and they're sitting in this sort of bit of a drier spot. And we have to roll to see if who surprises who. You guys may have surprised them, actually. They weren't really prepared. They seemed to be huddled around something and busy. So we'll roll six-sided. Your man Merrick, I think. Mm-hmm. Ooh, oh, and I keep forgetting to roll 20. I rolled a 6 there, which is good for you guys.
So 3 minus 1 for a 2?
Yeah, so you guys you surprised them. On a 2, you get a surprise. So you came around the corner and you get a round to act. They're just looking up on it. And then we'll roll initiative. You guys get to act first, full round.
We should fall back.
Or is this a good time for that sleep spell?
Fall back. Are they? What? Yeah, I mean, can we all see them, or is it just only Merrick can see?
No, it said there that the wind blew the mist away.
Oh, I see. So just like it cleared out, and we can all
but you surprised them though. Like one turned around and looked, and he's tapping another one on the shoulder and pointing and talking.
Oh shit!
And so you guys have a full round to do something, and they're pretty close too. Actually, you could close with them if you wanted.
If I use a sleep spell, and they're lizards, for Christ's sake. We just pet their heads. They're gonna consider that to be aggression, no matter what. We might not make it. They're armed. These things.
Pardon?
Are they armed? Are they armored?
No, they seem to have teeth. Pretty sharp teeth, though. However, And they seem to be using rudimentary stuff. Like one of them has a little knife, but barely, or not even a knife. It seems like a sharp stone. And they're kind of resting against an old ash tree, and there are chewed fish bones scattered all around. It seems to be that they're just lounging. At the
Let's
base
pull
of the
back and let them
tree
move first.
there's some stuff around the base of the tree.
I don't want to act. I'll have my short sword ready and half cocked. You know.
So, okay, what do you want to do? Let's start with Merrick. You got a round. You sense that you have a round to act. Vama's saying, let's flee. These creatures, the one who's looking at you seems like, he's licking his lips.
Lizards do that.
It's all good.
Do they appear that? I mean, it might be too early to ask this, but do they appear that they have hostile intentions? Is an attack imminent?
They look like bloodthirsty lizards. I like to eat flesh,
And there's 6 of them.
Wrong answer.
at least.
And about how big are they again?
Hard to say, probably about 120 pounds each or so.
Okay.
I could send a... Yeah, they look like they're little tiny mini Tyrannosaurus Rex creatures types. Not very big though, but they look capable that they could.
We've got 1 minute to do something. I could use my sleep spell here right now. I don't think it's a very good idea because what are we going to do? If we flee here, they might be able to move through this swamp a lot faster than we can when they wake up. There might be more of them. They may not even have hostile intentions, and we're screwed either way.
Right. They've already seen us.
Yeah, if they hadn't, I would say maybe we could fall back gently and go around these guys. But if they know that we're here, maybe we can parlay.
Yeah, the one saw you and he was tapping his buddy.
But we're not going to be able to parlay if we attack first. That's best I got.
What do you think, Merrick?
I'm open to negotiate.
Maybe we all get our backs together.
I mean, I could try to talk to them. I don't know if
Yeah,
it'll do
I
any
put
good.
a picture of them on the.
Vema's whispering like as low as he can go. I don't know if they can understand us or not, but if they rush us, Mr. Sandman comes. Okay? If they rush us, I'm going to cast a sleep spell. But other than that, hey, nice screen. Okay. But other than that, yeah.
Oops. Sorry. So the one. Okay, so we have to tell me what they're going to do. So you guys are retreating.
I think we're holding our ground.
Right.
Okay, well they're going to attack.
Okay, well, that sleep spell, I'll cast it as soon as I have the opportunity to, if I know that they're attacking. Damn it.
Let's see.
Save versus wands. Okay. Now there seems to be 8 of them, and he's trying to get the attention of them. Like I said, you guys had a round to act, but you're waiting. So now we're going to roll initiative, and they're turning to get excited and coming to your direction, and half of them will be able to reach you this next round.
Unless we're quicker.
Vanna, maybe we shouldn't use the sleep spell. Maybe I should use entangle. We're in the marsh. There's all sorts of vegetation around.
Can you get them all?
Griffin could cast entangle. The area of effect is circle, right? So
Oh well.
Centered it on us?
I centered it on them.
Okay. Would we?
Casting,
Okay.
casting time of 3 segments. That's the only thing, depending on how my initiative roll goes.
We'll do it simultaneously. You cast an entangle on the nearer group. I'll cast a sleep spell on the farther one.
Okay, so
there are
now the time's a factor. You guys got to act.
Yep.
All right. Roll
Okay,
initiatives.
so-
Yeah, it's all we can do other than run away from them and the lizards and swamps, man.
Vamo, what'd you get?
Initiative. Oh, D10. I'm sorry. I keep on pulling up a D6 for that.
And Merrick, just tell me your initiatives quickly.
2 minus 2 is 0.
Oh, Vama's 0. Nice.
Griffin got a 2 or got a 4.
4.
Merrick's a 2.
Nice. So I rolled a 7. And I'm going to roll for the pack of 4. So you guys all can act first. Vama goes first, actually. And they're all howling. They're giving out these weird kind of hiccups. And the first 2 kind of hesitate, stop, crouch back. And does anyone have missile weapons or spells?
Spell can be cast in a segment. Short sword in hand.
Entangle takes
that you were gonna
3
cast.
segments. Yeah, entangle is what I was going to cast.
Yeah. Ooh, so that would have brought you up to 7, which would tie them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this will happen simultaneously. You cast the entanglement as they do their action. Okay, we'll get to that. Now, Merrick or Vama, do you guys have missile, or are you attacking? What do you?
Well, here's the. You said that there only half of them were like. How are they
4.
grouped?
The other 4 are still huddled around the tree. So there's
Okay,
4 of them coming at you in a line.
A sleep spell is casting at the ones in the rear.
There we go.
Okay. Yeah, they're about 60 feet away.
I have a
50
range.
50, 60 feet.
Let me double check my range here. For
Okay.
sleep spell, my range is 40 feet.
So I'm going to just keep careful track here, guys. I got a little diagram, and I'll just keep track of where they are and what they're doing.
I want to throw the sleep spell as far back as I can and catch a bunch of them in a radius there.
Right.
Because I'm expecting that as they move
And
forward,
you
the
said it
entangle
was
spell will
15
do it.
15-foot radius?
It's a 15-foot radius off of a 40-foot range. And so I'm going to
Okay,
cast it at
You can
range.
hit 3 of them.
I'll do it.
Yeah, I'm just looking at my diagram right now, and that's the most you can hit.
Okay, 3 is better than 0. Let's do it.
Go ahead. All right, so they don't get a resistance roll.
Right.
You
That's a
cast
1 segment
spell.
cast, and it's still a 1 for initiative.
Now, if this thing's action interferes with the spell casting, it won't work because it's happened simultaneously. Right.
Well,
For
no,
me
that-
or for him?
no,
No,
that's for Griffin.
unless the other guys miss or whatever. So now we have Merrick. It goes now. Or no, Vama, you rolled a 0.
Yeah, my initiative, even with the spell, it's a 1.
Okay, sorry. I was thinking of when you cast the entanglement. So Vama,
Right, yeah, I'm
That
trying
it
to buy
works.
time so the entanglement works.
and they're all 1-1 hit dice, so you drop them all, right?
4 to 16 are, but whatever's within a radius. If they're lined up, it's. I don't know how many I can catch, but I want to hit the largest cluster that I can.
You hit 3 of them. And they
Okay,
were in a
well,
group
it'll fix.
enough, yeah. And they were near the tree, and they all just slumped down. Now, what's the duration, so I can write that down quickly?
The duration of the sleep spell is 5 rounds.
Okay, so 5. Okay, sleep. Now, moving on to Merrick. It's now your turn. You see 3 of these things just kind of, they were just slumped over by the tree, and then the ones beside them looking at them kind of muttering.
And you said there's some of them charging towards us?
4.
And are they running at full speed?
Yes.
Okay, Merrick's going to set his spear.
Okay. Merrick's okay, so 2 of them are coming at you, Merrick. Now, 2, one that was coming at you, and the other stop. And as I said, they did something strange. They hesitated a moment and went back on their haunches and actually spit this concentration of really fine mud silt and kind of stomach acids, I suppose, in this vile mixture. And Merrick, you have to make a resistance roll or saving throw versus wands.
Now, that's a missile attack, which I believe I get a saving throw versus petrification to avoid completely.
Oh, being the monk. Yeah, you do. So you might have 2 rolls coming up. So go ahead, see if you avoid it, dodge it all together.
Yeah,
That's
I
a good
think it
call.
was-
Hey, there are some perks to being a monk. So these things try to spit this goo on you, and I'm just going to double check my information.
So it's petrification save for each one. So there were 2 of them, correct?
When one approaches, several will squirt jets of muddy water up to 10 feet at the victim's eyes. Okay, so as a blind...
What was
Okay,
there?
so yeah, go ahead. Did you make your save?
I made the first save. Is there a
Okay, so you dodge it. No need for another one. Now, the other one was squirted at, that would be Vama.
How dare they?
So you have to make a resistance versus wand.
Save versus a wand is
Yeah, specifically it says versus wand, staff, or wand.
that's fantastic. My saving throws are awesome. Let me see.
Yeah, actually, yours are... You
11.
save as a thief
Anything-
or magic user? Thief?
I save as the better of the 2 for each individual category. So I have an 11 for rod, staffs, and wands.
Nice.
And I have to roll equal to or below, right?
over?
Or
Above.
equal to or above, 11 or above, right? Sorry. And a 14.
So you avoid, it splashes you a bit, and this stuff is like vile, and it's meant that you want to splash it in your face, and it probably would blind you or cause you a gag or whatever. But you both make your rolls, so that does not happen.
Let's hope they can't do that every round.
Now the other 2 attack. Now I have to see who's next. Bama went. Merrick.
Or Griffin.
If one of them is attacking me, I get my attack roll for setting the spear before they attack, correct? Because they're closing.
Yeah, that's right, because 2 can attack this round. 2 spit.
Not if you're simultaneously dodging their missile attacks successfully. Sorry,
Oh,
I didn't
yeah.
mean to be that guy. But
Oh yeah. I mean,
That is correct. You would have had to
I don't know.
maneuver.
That.
Okay, so you get to attack it, though, regardless. You have initiative.
Okay.
So
Roll.
this one's coming at you. Rawr.
I'll keep my 2 cents to myself next time, man.
No.
Yeah, I forgot about that. He
Now, wait a
dodged it.
minute, what did they roll for initiative?
Yeah, they were
7.
they tied with you, didn't they?
Yeah, they tied with me for the including the casting time for entangle.
It happens at the same time.
Okay.
So as long as they're not attacking you, then your spell should just drop right in on them.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can actually roll to affect that spell now. So does that? They don't get a saving throw, do they, or do they?
There's a saving throw for half. Basically, if they fail to save, they're just held fast for 1 turn. If they make the save, their movement is cut to 50% because they've got to get through the entanglement, the grasses and weeds and brush that's cropped up around them.
Which means that even if they make their save, they'll probably lose initiative for the remainder of the engagement.
I mean, yeah, they're moving at half speed.
Oh, good call.
So
why don't you go ahead then, and you're trying to get the ones in front of you now, right?
Right. There is the duration is 1 turn. Area or the range is 8. Well, not inches, but
80 feet.
When he well, no, it's not 8 feet. It's
80.
the inch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'd be a range of 80.
Yeah, 80 feet.
And then the area of effect would be 40.
Oh, that's a pretty big area. You can get basically all 4 of the front line who are coming at you. So I'm going to roll 4 dice real quick, all right? And
Okay.
1 die, they just basically roll as one level 1 fighters. So is that against spells?
Yes, that would be against
so
spells.
It's 17. Actually, I'll go on roll 20.
Nice.
Doing that. So 1.
So this could effectively incapacitate all of them.
What's the
The
goal?
remainder. So.
Look at the rolls.
Wow.
So you slowed 3 and entangled 1.
No, okay.
Wow.
Fucking hell. What are these things, anyways?
Well, they're lizards.
They're lizards.
They're muck dwellers.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Aye.
And yeah, like I said, they're like 120-pound vicious lizards that, man, they're kind of working communally in these tribes, and they love fresh meat.
So we
but
look
they're
like
slow.
dinner.
You see these tentacles, tendrils reach up. I don't know if you want to describe that or anything, or I forgot. I kind of glossed over that, but
Right. It just seems like the vegetation grows and expands rapidly to form this really dense thicket around them. And one is just held fast and can't move, and the other three in the front line are slowed drastically and are still trying to get to Merrick and Bama, but not quite having any luck with it at the moment.
no, Now it's finally their turn. Now the one right in front can still attack Vama. I think it is. Let me have a look here. No, Merrick, sorry. One can still attack Merrick, and the others are too slowed down. They can't cover the ground now. They won't reach you guys. So that did work in a way. And one's completely entangled. 3 are asleep, remember? It's not
3's asleep, 1's entangled, and a bunch are slowed down, and you're on a one-on-one with one of them, right?
Okay, I got a 12. What's your AC?
Merrick's AC is 10. Well, you said earlier about getting the dex bonus?
Yeah, I'm going to give that. I think it's ridiculous a monk doesn't get a dex bonus. I'm going to...
Okay, let me see what that is for 16 dex.
And I'll probably get flack for that.
2. -2.
So -2, so that's 8 AC.
And that's well, he needs a 13. Up to -1, yeah, because these are quite half hit die monsters, yeah. Gotcha. So he just whiffed by 1 point. The one that's trying to wake his buddies is not working. Now I'm rolling a morale check here.
They better run. One of us is going to be dinner, and I hope it's them.
Now, it's next round, because the ones in the back can attack. I'm just thinking for a minute. They got slowed. You see they panic. The creatures, they seem to panic. Like the ones that fell asleep are not moving, of course. The one that saw them drop, he just looks around and bounds into the swamp. The ones that are being grappled by vegetation and whatnot are just freaking out and squealing and ripping and hurting themselves and running and trying to escape. And they completely break and scatter as quick as they can. There's one that's still held, though, and he's stuck fast and he's squirming like a mouse in a mouse trap. And well, they failed their morale check really bad.
We should run. Well, which direction did they go with respect to the road that we were following?
Oh, that's interesting you mentioned that, because
Like, if we could just run, you know what I mean? I don't think that they're going to immediately instigate pursuit. They might just give it up for dead.
Yeah, I think they're freaked out. Yeah,
they're just lizards. I mean,
they seem to have been waiting now. You can notice where they were. Seems to be a bit of an intersection. It's a 4-way intersection where another trail intersected this one. And it seems to be a similar, well, it's hard to tell construction, but it's an overgrown trail. And you guys just mentioned that. Now, okay, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt. You guys discussing running or whatever.
no, more information is better information. What do you guys think? I think if we just blaze out of here, what do we have to gain from these?
Well,
Like
the area they were sitting around.
Yeah, what were they sitting around something?
There was a big tree, and trees are pretty rare in the swamp here. You saw the odd one. Most of them were dead, snags, but they were sitting around an old tree. So you guys haven't ran, then, I'm assuming. An old ash tree, and they were chewing on fish, remains of fish bones that were scattered around at the garbage. The place stunk. It looked like it was one of their hangouts, maybe. And by the way, there's one still thrashing.
And there's
in
3
roots.
asleep. They'll wake up soon.
And there's 3 asleep. that are down. Yeah, that's another round. So that's pretty soon, in about a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I just want to warn you guys. This they'll only sleep for a few minutes. It always ends up bad. Always.
Yeah, I'm all for. Now the ash tree that was ahead of us, so we're going to walk past that anyway. That's where we're going past, right? That's the intersection.
It's sitting on the intersection. Yep.
Do we?
We can go up the tree. Do you think they know how to climb?
Well, can we tell which way we need to go since this intersection wasn't?
Okay, this one muck dweller that's thrashing still. He's trying to free himself with not much luck. The last of his buddies is kind of broken free and ran finally, and you can hear them splashing off in the swamp for now, perhaps. But they seem to be pretty impressed with the magic that you guys cast. Was pretty overwhelming. Like they were just like, "Holy cow, let's get out of here!" Sorcerers, run, magic, and flee. Now you have to decide soon what to do with the 3 sleeping ones. They're going to wake up in a minute and a half, 2 minutes. But before you see that, you do kind of cautiously move ahead a little bit and look, and you can see leaning against the base of the tree is a small kind of figurine, some sort of statuette, it looks like. And the tree also is the top, most of it's dead and busted off, and it's hollow. It appears that now you can see that there's a crack in the side, and they might have had this place as sort of, like I said, one of their hangouts.
You know, I'm guessing that if these 3 wake up and they see that nothing else is around, the last thing on their mind is going to be to attack us. What do you think?
Right. Yeah, I don't think they're going to want to go. They're not going to want to go toe to toe with us after their buddies are gone. Their numbers are cut by half.
Yeah, but we
There's
do a quick search, take what we can, and move on.
What's that figurine? What's it look like?
Okay, you move up to the tree.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're about 30, 40 feet away. So
Just keep weapons drawn and aimed at these guys. They're bright enough to know.
Well, we'll see. They're sleeping at the moment, and you still have a couple minutes, which is quite a long time. So you scamper up to the tree, and they cleared a little spot, and it smells. They've been crapping around here. They're not very smart, quite unintelligent, and they've been munching on whatever. And you go up to the statue, and you see that it is a small 2-foot-high wooden statuette of what appears to be a pretty good job. Somebody whittled up a nice lizard man. It looks different than these creatures. I showed you the picture of these ones. This one it looks more human, the statuette. Definitely more human. And whoever carved it, I don't know, any of you guys have crafting or any background, artistic background? You could further analyze this statuette?
Nah, not really.
The background, I forgot all about that.
Oh, yeah, you can do that after the game or whatever. You guys go up to the tree, and what do you want to do with the tree? It appears to be hollow.
I'm gonna search.
Can I throw this at you guys? I want to grab one of these guys while they're still asleep. How tall are they? Like when they stand up, are they about the tall as 5 feet, 4 feet?
Yeah, maybe the biggest one's probably just 5, just over 5. Smallest one's 3.5, 4 feet tall.
They're still asleep?
Yeah, for about another. They're stirring now.
You guys do what you need to do. I'm going to keep an eye on these guys with my sword drawn and pointed at one.
okay.
Right. I just want to ensure that they leave. They don't mess with us.
Right.
So I'll do that if you guys want to check out that tree and the icon there.
Yeah. In lieu of my actual skills, can Griffin make a wisdom check, even potentially with a penalty on the figurine? See if he recognized anything about it.
Sure, I've pretty well given you what any layman would have noticed. But go ahead. I mean,
Okay.
if you fluke out and roll like a less than 5 or something, let me know.
Sorry, I'm lagging.
And
again.
meanwhile, you go to the tree and
Well, rolled a 6.
Yeah, it's just you realize it's been carved recently. It looks fresh.
Hmm.
You know, even you could tell that
Oh.
it's not old or anything, and it's quite nice. It's we did a good job. Some nice fine workmanship.
How big is it?
It's pretty light. Probably weighs about 7 pounds. For,
Its actual size, though, huh?
2 feet long.
Okay, so Merrick and Griffin, are we checking out the hollow tree trunk?
Yeah, Merrick's going to perform a quick search, see if he can find anything.
It's the Muck Dweller's Hoard, they call it. There's probably about a bunch of mixed coins in there. You can tell. You can scoop together, and there's electrum and copper and silver and gold and the whole. Not much gold at all, but enough that you could estimate there's probably about 50 gold pieces worth of stuff. There's a broken gold bracelet. This piece of jewelry, nondescript, but could be worth about 40 gold pieces, though. And a coil of silver wire, which it's just odd, but it's a coil of silver wire, and that must be worth. And it's a nice coil of silver wire you can make jewelry with and stuff, and it's worth like 30 gold pieces.
It's all things
And-
very odd, like a bunch of crafting stuff. Huh?
And you said the gold bracelet was worth how much? I'm sorry.
It was worth about 40 gold pieces. And there's also a crumpled piece of copper sheet. Now remember you found a copper sheet earlier?
Yes.
You might want to share that with Vama. And you can look at that in the Roll20 Vama if you want that copper sheet. Etched on this copper sheet.
I'm keeping my eyes on the three that are still here.
There's
Other three.
etched on this are a picture of a snake and the name Eli Sweetgrass. Of all things.
Mm.
And this Muck Dweller stirs and looks up and sees you there, Vama, with your sword out.
Aimed right at his.
And scatters like a frightened cat.
Mhm.
Pounds into the swamp. And the others do as well. It says they're quite cowards and won't stick around. Well, you guys bombarded them with magic there. It was a good job. Well done. They flee, and you have a bit more time. They might come back, though. You don't want maybe to push your luck once they get together and get some courage. And
They may be ambush attackers too, so we have to be very careful about this one.
yeah, in this intersection, you guys have traveled quite a ways into the swamp. This intersection, you could tell the right path would head toward the grasslands where you saw that tall grass, which was in the northwest end of the valley. If you move straight ahead, that would take you around the west side of that big weed lake, we'll call it. And if you go left at this point, you'll be going southeast, and that would give you possible access to either the staircase that went up the mountain that you could see, or it could take you to the causeway that went to the island. There's no indication of friendly or foe so far. These Muck Dwellers might give you trouble, you're not sure. You gave them a good scare, though. They ran, and oh yeah, there's one that's still held fast, by the way. He's held, like he's wound up with roots and stuff, and he's freaking out. He's standing still now, but he's contemplating gnawing his own leg off. It's wrapped up in some roots.
Merrick's going to grab the bracelet, the copper sheet, the wire, and the assorted coins, and turn it and let the group know we should be leaving.
Agreed.
Right.
Let's make some distance, huh?
Got the loot, got the statue, got the loot, and you guys are heading out now. You got
What about that
choices.
thing pointing at the statue, the carved statue of the other lizard? What about that thing?
Do we want to take it?
Kind of big, isn't it? Yeah, leave it. Leave it.
Okay, so we'll leave the lizard man statuette.
Okay.
Carry around like a wooden dolly.
It's about 2 feet long. Yeah, about that long. It would be a little encumbering.
We know where it is. It's the only tree in this marsh, right? Or in this area. It's on the road. We know where it is if we need to come back for it.
Now, which way do you want to go? straight ahead, goes around the west side of the lake, if you want, and it goes into the forest. As far as you remembered, it went quite a ways through the marsh first, and then to the right went backward, actually, as far as you could tell. You might probably don't want to go right at this point. It'll take you to that big grass field. To your left, as I said, goes back to the area where the causeway and the staircase is. Now, there were 2 staircases you saw, remember? And it seemed that the Weed Lake went right up against the sheer bluffs on that side of the valley. So the staircase, I don't know, you draw conclusions. Which way do you guys want to go?
I think we had. I'm bidding for the staircase. Yeah.
And it's probably about 7:30 in the morning, so you got all day in front of you.
If we can get some higher elevation, we could probably. We're much nearer. We can maybe look out over the entire marshy area and a little bit of the, get a better idea of where to go from there. But that stair will give us the elevation we need. What do you think?
Yeah, I like the stair.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So you head that way, and so you turn to your left, you follow that causeway, you turn off the intersection, and you follow it. It turns a little bit, but always quite detailed, like the dwarves crafted well in their hidden ways. And you travel for about 1.5 miles, and you thought you saw through break in the mists, or you could tell the lake, Weed Lake, is pretty close on your right, maybe 1/2 mile or closer, 1/4 mile. And you get to a section where the marshes sort of break into a grassland, where it's tall grass, like 5, 7 feet, 6, 8 feet tall, and often your vision is cut severely. You can always see the sides of the valley usually, but you have to force your way through because the trail sort of breaks up. And it's possible to get lost because this is a pretty large area. In fact, it's probably about 1.5 miles square of grassland, tall. You do know the lake's on your right, and you can follow sort of skirt the lake, or you could take your chances, go into the middle of the grasslands to get. No, your destination is the stairs, and that will take you past the causeway to the island.
Why don't we hug that lake there? If it's going to take us past it, I thought there were more than one. I guess I was assuming that maybe guessing that one of the stairs was this side of the causeway and one was the other side, like they're flanking it or something like that. But if we have to pass the causeway anyways, I'm throwing this at you guys. Why don't we hug the lake? Because then at least we have a solid navigational device rather than getting lost in the grass. And if we hit that causeway first, at least we know where we're at. And that's also, there's a structure out there.
Right.
Right.
Now, you can reference the map here in a minute because by memory you know it quite well. So if you take a look at it in a minute, I'll zoom you in. You guys are in this swamp area, and right ahead of you is these huge bamboo grass area, and you can see the little island. So you have to go past that to get to the 2 staircases on either side of the lake.
See it clearly now, yeah.
Yeah. So you're going to be going along the lake, like you said. And
Yeah,
just so you know,
follow that coast. At least if we have to bug out, we can get out onto that water, right?
Yeah.
Like the possibility of that. But we'll be able to, maybe we can get to that structure there out there. It looks overgrown and ruined, not tended to. And another place that we might be able to either camp, store shit, rest for a few, get some lunch.
Okay, can anyone hear noises?
Yes, at a abysmal rate.
I have a thief skill of listening. But
Actually, the monk gets a hear noise chance. Is it your big 10%?
Correct. We should both.
yeah, that's the same. It's the thief skill of hear noise, isn't it?
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, no, both of you then.
Roll a 75.
Okay, and I've got also a 10% chance. Yay.
I know.
There we go. 1 in 10, eh? Okay, well. And that is a 16, so negative.
And everything seems okay. The wind's blowing, the crickets are chirping, and you guys start heading into the grasslands. And you go for about. You can only move probably about maybe a mile an hour in this. There's no trail now. The trail, it disappeared in the overgrowth. You don't have your ranger here, so the druid could make a wisdom check for me.
Okay. And he makes it.
Okay, so you think you're on track. You had a little glimpse once where you could, yeah, the mountains are in the right spot. Okay, I think, yeah, this looks good. You had to backtrack a couple times where you would hit bogginess, like where you're like, oh, we don't want to go further. It's just water all of a sudden and just shoots of grass coming out of water. So you tried to find stable ground. The going's really slow. You're only moving about maybe a mile an hour at the most. And you get to a point where you come across a trail. And it's one of those, maybe one of those overgrown dwarf tracks, but it clearly all of a sudden the ground comes up a little bit and there's solid trail, and it's going across, almost perpendicular across, and you predict that you're pretty close to where the causeway is that went out to that island, and this is possibly a road that goes across and to the island. And so you
Cobbled, or is it just cleared of vegetation?
No, it's just, in fact, all that happened was you guys, it's similar than like before, you basically had a little bit of elevation and the vegetation dried up and moved up. But it was too straight and perfect to be natural. It must have been an old road.
Right, like a
overgrown.
dike or something.
And so you figure you're maybe halfway across that heavily grassland, and you guys can keep plowing through and head to the staircase. Or you could go to the island at this point. You're pretty close. You're about, well, you estimate you're probably about 10 minutes away to the causeway, or you could keep plowing forward.
What do you say? I think we should look at that island, you know. It's the
Yeah.
most salient feature in the entire environment.
While we're here.
Yeah, while we're here. At least we know if we have to flee back somewhere, we can go this way. That causeway is a channel, isn't it? Let's go investigate it.
Excellent. So, hey guys, can you play for another hour?
I can. As long as I can
Yeah,
get a
sure.
piss break right now.
Is that cool?
You're gonna though, Darren. I don't know if that's just me or is everyone hearing that?
What's that? The
You're-
breaking up?
I was hearing some static.
Yeah, that's coming from Darren. That's your mic started rattling out a little bit. I'm not sure what that is.
Okay, check. It's starting.
It's there. It's clear. You're getting some sort of over fuzz on it. For some reason, like as if there's a.
Well, I'm getting a little bit of video delay too, and I'd hate to say reconnect because that might kill the live feed. So if it, I can work through it.
Get used to it after a while.
Let me have a quick look. I'll see if yeah, that's no good if I'm getting interference.
I'm going to take a 1 minute bio. I'll be right back.
Alrighty, I'll be back as well.
Okay, check. Check. Oh, okay.
I'm back. Let me get. I'm just gonna go down and get a glass of water. And I'll be right back. Okay. But I'm good for another hour.
Okay, I did a restart there. I wonder if that changed anything.
Everything looks good here. I can tell you that your audio started fuzzing right around the time that you put that new graphic up on the Roll20.
Oh, okay. I'll
Just it could have done something.
Roll20.
But yeah, give me 1 second. I'm just gonna, or not 1 second. I'm just gonna go downstairs and get a glass of water. I'll be right back.
Roger. Yeah, my coffee's almost done too. All right, everyone. Thanks for hanging out, and we're still live. It says so. Sorry about the sound. I'm not sure. You mean that hissing sound there you hear?
No static when you were speaking.
Is it still happening?
Negative.
Okay, I restarted everything, so we'll see what can happen. Now, I'm going to give you one more chance, actually, Monk and Thief, to hear noise. But he's just getting a drink of water, so... And I think Joe's still coming back.
I'm here.
Oh, all right, on Joe. And thanks, guys. It's been cool. You guys have done well so far. Now, you guys decided to check out the causeway, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, you don't hear. That's brutal, eh? 10%. D&D. But if you do nail that, it'll be something special. It'll probably give you a good clue or something, but or not. So you head down the causeway, and I'll just kind of work slowly here until he gets back. Now, this seems to have been some leftover from when the dwarves kind of ruled this valley. And you guys can head out on the causeway, and you head that direction. And it's, like I said, it's about a quarter mile out, and you now can see on either side, it's not far until you see the actual weed lake. And lo and behold, it's all this mass of weeds that in some places seem to bubble up and create sort of this topography on the lake, but you can tell it's very unstable. You wouldn't want to go out there, let alone try swim through there or something. You wouldn't get anywhere. Impassable. And then perched on the rocky islet, amid the weed-tangled lake, is a grim battlement building. Its ancient stones are stained and moss-covered, and the timbers of the stockade extending from one side are rotten. A gray figure paces the battlements, as if on lookout duty, but does not seem to have noticed you. So you're close. You took you about 15 minutes to cross this walkway. You now see this grim battlement come out of the mist, and there's this figure pacing the top battlement, and there's a rotten sort of drawbridge down.
And the figure, we can't make out what it is. It's just a biped walking back and forth.
You're about 100 feet away, and it's probably about 10 in the morning, 10:30 now.
Okay.
And so it's fairly light out, nice day. But even then, you can just see it's shady. Okay, you're still about 100 feet away. You can't make it out.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have enough concealment that if this fellow would, or whoever this figure is on the battlement, would he be able to just look down and easily see us? Or
pardon me. Oh, sorry, Ian. Before I forget, roll a hear noise.
The percentile.
The monk did already. Yeah, and I was going to get you to roll one.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and
just before you got here. Yeah.
Oh, that's a negative. I've got 10%.
Okay, so you guys, you're about 100 feet away, and you're trying to make out this figure, but that's ignoring you apparently, or doesn't see you. And it seems to be some sort of short, squat figure that's marching on like a guard duty, and this island is probably, let me see here, there's probably about a 25-foot wooden rickety wharf that goes to the island, and the tower itself is the north end is where the walkway comes on to the island.
My guess is he's alone.
It's two floors. Sorry, it's 2 floors. Go ahead.
If we can get that cover, if we can get into some sort of cover, so if this guard up here on the tower doesn't incidentally look down and just see 3 people looking at him dumbfoundedly, that might be a good idea for us, huh? I've got a few ideas to share with you guys. So we could like even just hit the ground, just go prone and find a little bit of an embankment or something like that. We can think about this.
Okay, now I need one more roll for hear noise. Sorry, guys. That's just a time factor here.
Negative.
69. All right. Now, and so go ahead, Bama. I got a plan, you're saying?
Yeah, I would just like us all to kind of like lay prone, so if we're talking for a second, we're not going to be noticed accidentally by this guy because we're just standing there. What do you think this is now? He's guarding? Obviously not guarding from people coming up on Causeway, huh?
Not very well.
No, which means he's probably alone. Either he's alone or we've been seen.
There's always that possibility.
Now, gentlemen, I'm afraid I'm going to have to get you to roll a 6-sided die for surprise. And you get your dex bonus regularly. And I wish that ranger was with us.
Right.
Cool. 2 minus 1.
Okay.
Do we need individuals or just that one roll?
No, just one roll for party and then for individual for initiative.
We'll take Merrick's. We'll take mine for initiative if you want.
Yeah, no, he rolled and I rolled a 5. Now that's good because you guys didn't get surprised completely. Now there's some creatures that have crept up on you guys sneakily.
Either he was alone or we've been spotted.
And they've been sneaking through the foliage and the water and such, this thick growth, and you guys they're so good, they're so sneaky. And it's these muck dwellers.
All of them?
And they've come back. And they're coming back to get you, and you're not sure how many are on either side, but for right now I'm going to roll to see how many actually are getting, but you guys made your roll there, so you're not surprised, so they don't get their full. You're pretty sure there are 3 of them. Now you're on a long passageway that's probably about, it's widened out a little bit, and you're on the one edge of it along a path, and so to your right there's probably about 80 feet to the swamp lake, but on your left is where they snuck up on you. And you think there's probably about 3 of them that are going to surge out of the water, and sure enough, they come out of the water real quickly. One of them is going to go spit, and 2 are going to attack. But you guys want to attack, so you guys quickly spin and look out! And you guys spotted them quickly, and they were just a bit slow. They moved a bunch of foliage. And you can see more coming up behind you and jumping onto the trail. But their next round, there's another 3. And that's, as far as you know, there was 8 originally, and you didn't.
3 and 3 right there.
And so there's 3 back on the trail behind you guys. You guys are sort of strung out a bit on the trail. Now you won that. You got the good roll there. And so these 3 are going to come out, and they were going to try attack, surprise you, but they didn't. So let's roll initiative. Or no, you guys get a free attack because they're in the water and moving around. Or free round to do whatever.
Can I attack with a reach weapon for that free attack?
Yeah,
Yes.
how far are they? Oh, we can.
Yeah.
Short sword out. I'll go in right with you, Monk.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any area of effect spells, Druid? That
Not left. Entangle was my area of effect spell for the day.
So you're declaring your action now at the round, and then we're going to roll for, or no, you guys get your move first, so go ahead. Malik or Merrick?
Merrick's going to attempt to engage with at range with the spear.
Yeah, I was going to say range attack first. You can get in there, go ahead, attack. Their AC was 7. Oh, I forgot.
Wait, by
what
range, are you attacking melee or are you going to throw that thing?
Let me clarify. Reach.
No, you can get it by reach.
Okay, then you take one, I'll take another, and let the third get himself
So-
sorted.
AC 6, and you need a 14 to hit.
Okay.
Go ahead.
See if this roll thing is working.
All right.
It is working, but I'm not hitting.
No. All right. Now, of course, go ahead, Fama.
Okay. Hey, just a question. How did you get that little? What did you roll for that to get? Oh, I see. Never mind. I was. It's how you got that little. It says bone spear attack damage and whatnot like that. Okay, so I'm gonna roll with short sword. Same deal.
Yeah. You
0
bet.
hit modifier. As far as I understand, 0 hit modifier.
Yeah, as far nothing's going now, and you're a druid, or no, I mean magic user or a thief. I guess you'd be under thief. Yeah,
Attacking as a.
you get a 15.
Yeah. Well, I'm just gonna roll.
Well, you got a 20.
Did I?
You rolled a
You got
natural.
you got a nat 20.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So now roll a 100-sided die, and if you roll 86 you get triple damage, and so on. And if you roll
Like that.
so you got triple damage, but your damage unfortunately was 1, but triple that.
3.
Yeah,
Like
and
boss.
you killed it. You just it has 3 hit points. In that critical strike, you just you
Oh.
do what you do. I don't know. Go ahead.
The worst possible hit and barely enough to kill it. Small blessings, man.
And you bash it. Yeah, I guess you spear it with your short sword.
Yeah, we cleave its head clean off, you know.
Nice. Well, I wouldn't say that. You just barely skewered it. I'd say 0 hit points. Here we go with Griffin.
Well, if we've got a free attack and they're honest, then he's going to attack with his staff.
One in the water. Well, that's close. The other 2 are. You can run over and attack the ones behind you. They're close enough. They're in. Yeah,
Okay.
they're within 100 feet. Whatever, you could run over there and attack, but you'd be isolated. So there's 2 more in the water, though.
I'd say hit the one in the water. Let them close to us.
Yeah, let them come on us. We've got a height
Yeah.
advantage at least
yeah,
tactically.
that's what we'll do. So he'll just wait for the next round.
Besides, we
Well, you
can
have
break
a
them
free
when all
attack.
again.
You have a
Well,
free
well, that
attack on the one in the water.
Oh,
Right
so
now.
I can reach the one in the water with the staff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, we're going to do that.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. Go ahead. And the druid, right? So you need a 15, unless that's unmodified.
Let's see if it did it roll. Roll 20. Roll. Well, I'll just do that. Hang on. No.
That's a hit.
Oh, it is a hit.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah,
needed
it
a
is.
15. Remember,
I
I
needed
a
15,
15.
right.
Yeah. So now damage with a staff is 1d6.
Yep.
Go ahead. Now you know roughly how many hit points these things have. They're not very big, and they seem to go. But this one
They break
is still
easy.
alive. He's still alive.
Him for 2.
Yeah, and
Okay.
you get no strength bonus or anything. So
That's it.
that's it for your free attacks, right? Now we roll initiative, and you add. They have no weapons, so you just get your dexterity bonuses. Unless you have a ranged weapon, you get a first attack, melee.
No interest in throwing my sword at them.
Probably not. Okay, I roll. Oh, okay. They're pretty slow. The group in the water are really slow. And the group on the land are really slow. I lumped them in 2 groups for now. There's a group of 3 and a group of 2. and they both seem to be. You saw them. One of their buddies get skewered and slump back. Give out this screech and thrash on top of the water.
Sorry, that should have been a 5. 1 out of 10 -2, not +2.
Correct.
Oh, so Vama, what's your total?
5. It should have been a 5 instead of a 9. I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead, Joe. Griffin rolled a 2. Okay, got it. Merrick rolled a nice 1. So you guys all by far goes first, and unless you have spells, you have to add your segment casting time, right? Now, is my audio better now, by the way?
Yes.
It is.
Okay, I reset a bunch of things. Something clicked. Thanks, guys. You guys all move first, but they're not fleeing. I'm going to actually, let me roll here a minute. I'm going to make a morale check, and they have to roll below their morale.
The lower roll keeps morale.
Yeah. So they're sticking around. They hesitated, hence their shitty initiative roll. And you guys all go first. There's 2 right beside you, and there's 3 about 30, 40 feet away.
Okay. Merrick's going to attack with fists because he's got too big of a hit penalty with the spear.
Oh, proficiency. I see.
Wait, what is the non-proficiency penalty for a monk?
-3.
-3. Ooh.
Yeah.
Go ahead. So you go to punch one in the water, I guess. Oh, and he was gonna spray you. You see, one's got. You can tell now when they're gonna hiccup and spit on you, and one in the water is gonna do that. So that's a hit. I'm pretty sure. Monk. Yeah, you need a 15. Oh no, these things don't have 5 armor class. What am I talking about? These things have 6 armor class. Actually, that's not bad. But you would have needed a 14, just so you know. And you hit. Go ahead, roll your damage. Now, there was one that was wounded.
It's already there.
Okay, and you kill the one that was about to spit on you. And his wounded buddy's still alive. Actually, I should have let you decide that.
I'll take him.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, well, he's closer to whoever's closest to you.
Okay. Now it's Griffin's turn. You get next initiative.
Okay. And he will attack the staff again.
Dun, dun, dun.
And he hit. 15 was a hit, correct?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. And in that case,
Got to get the swamp effect going again. Damage.
2 for damage, but we'll take it.
Yeah, and that one was wounded, and he slumps back in death. Now, there's a couple more that have died near the water. And last in line would be Vama. You can run over to those ones. They're still seeming, they're going to attack this round still. They're, as far as you know.
Like they're still rushing out from the water to come towards us.
Well, the 3 behind you aren't on the water anymore. The ones that you've killed are beating back the 3 in the water beside you. Now there's three more on the trail behind you that were running toward you and going to attack. But
Make one quick glance up at the tower to see if there's that figure. Like, so I have a feeling that we've made ourselves known, and then brace myself for their attack when they come. You know, I don't want to run into the middle of 3 of them. I want to stay as close to my friends as possible so we can all be sort of together when they come in and hit us. You know.
Okay, so if you had an attack bonus, you could parry with that. I'm not sure if just fighters can do that or not.
I didn't think they were parrying at all in this edition.
Yeah, fighters can parry with their attack bonus, but then they can't attack, and they just add that. Like if they're +2 to hit, they can add that, and they can't attack, and it takes it away from the attack. They add that to their AC.
I feel more comfortable waiting for them to come to me than to jump into the middle of 3 of them.
Yeah.
So
okay.
unless I can swing, if they're in range right now, of course I'll do the heaviest swing I can. If not, I'm going to wait for them to come to me and stay nearer to my friends.
Okay, quick morale check, because they that's a good call, because if you would have rushed them, that was a good call. Hold on. They flee again. It was very close. And you can tell if you would have ran at them, they probably would have kept fighting. But the fact that you held back with your weapons out and everything, you guys looked like ass kicking at that time. You know, you see there's corpses there, kind of slumped in the water. The one's still thrashing you originally killed, but you tell he might be dead. It's just nerves going at this point, and you guys are all got a grim look in your eye now. And they kind of quickly look, and then they slowly slink back and slide in the water and appear to leave. Not in a panic or anything, but they flee. And you quickly killed 3, and you guys kind of relax a little bit and look around now. Careful of the water.
Get some, you lizards! Get some!
Oh yeah, you did well.
So quick search of the bodies.
Yeah, they're stinky, smelly, vile little things. Ugh, yeah, they don't seem to have the smarts to even wear jewelry or clothing, and they're like swamp creatures. Yeah, just not much to them.
Wretched little thieves.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that I'm developing a distaste. Vama is developing a distaste for reptiles.
That's right.
Yeah, their persistence, right?
Their persistence and their general disposition. I don't think that they don't seem as civilized as I would like swamp dwellers to be.
They're cowards, though. You knew when you took a few down, they ran.
Good.
And oh yeah.
Good.
And you turn around, and that figure, you're still about 100 feet away, right?
Yeah.
And at this point, the mists are still there, and this figure just continues to be pacing in the same, appears to be same exact pace. And yeah, it's weird. And it's a 2-story tower, and you guys can see the tower kind of faces you, and the platform that crosses from your roadway, it actually goes across a part of the lake. There's probably about a 30-foot long wooden plank, as I told you about, and that enters a little courtyard on the other side of the tower. He kind of goes around the corner, and this figure is on the top floor, so you kind of have to walk under him to get onto the platform.
But he hasn't even stopped pacing.
No. And you just can't make him out. It's and at the daylight even, it's still misty and foggy here, I should say. It's not like bright out and clear. So all you see is this hazy, short figure. By the right height for...
Something is not right here.
Yeah.
Like, I feel half tempted to just stand there and wave and see what he does. Half tempted. Stop me before I do.
I'm not really objecting to it.
And
Yeah. I'm wondering whether we should do that or just continue to walk up. You know,
Well, watch these lizards seem to be somewhat persistent, huh? So as long as we can get some eyes behind us and out on the water, one of us just give a hail. Don't even call out. Just a physical hail.
Yeah.
So you don't go much closer. You're still 80, 100 feet away. And you're waving and nothing. Like, as far as you can tell, you're still too far away. It's hard to make out, but no acknowledgement.
There's something wrong.
Could you make a wisdom check? Character 2, that would be the monk. Merrick. So now, yeah.
Ooh, that might not be good. Oh, made it. I have an 18 wisdom. I forgot.
Oh wow. She's like, it is not real. You say, Merrick, it's not real. Look, and he points quickly, and for a minute you might be able to have seen that it looks more like a shadow.
Oh.
You could actually see I guess, through it a bit.
Interesting.
You share this information with us, yeah?
Yeah, of course.
So something very quickly just went through Valma's mind here. Maybe somebody lives there, but they're alone, and so they want to give the impression that there's somebody watching the tower to keep these lizard creatures from. They don't seem very bright, so maybe it keeps them away. But that means somebody's in there who does not know we're here, and
Or
is taking a lot for granted right now.
A gray figure paces the battlements as if on lookout duty, but does not seem to have noticed you. So that's the description. And it doesn't change. And so, yeah, maybe some, you're not sure.
Are there any stones around?
Stones?
About the size of, say, a hen's egg.
Yeah, eventually you could find one. Yeah.
If there wasn't one handy, then I wouldn't worry about it. But I'm gonna hit that thing with a sling stone and see what happens.
well, Merrick doesn't want to give up the element of surprise if we have one.
Good point. Thank you for stopping.
Recommends we approach.
The voice of 18 reason.
You're still about 100 feet away, you estimate.
I'll tell you what. Why doesn't one of us try to sneak up closer, or two? Or maybe we can just flank around and see if we can get. Is that the only way through into the into like a bastion or something like that? Is through the single gate?
Yeah, it's a little island. I mean, you don't like the water. I mean, even if you swam up, you'd still be underneath the battlements. It's that small. Like, yeah, that wooden walkway basically goes to a little below. Like the tower sticks up, and then just below it, there's a flat piece on the side, and it's kind of hidden from view. The main bulk of the tower is toward you. And let me have a look at some description here. Sorry about that. Not doing a good job with that.
Well, Merrick says, I'd rather not risk one of us getting ambushed again. We should move together.
True.
There's still 5 of those lizard things out there.
Right.
All right. Well,
And they keep
yeah.
coming back.
Let's do it cautiously then, and check it out. If I could recommend, Druid in the middle, like walking, just walking. You're not, unless you're particularly skilled in hiding, right?
No.
Monk, you stay on one side of the trail, I'll stay on the other. If anything happens, or if we have any notice of anything, you go hide on one side, I'll go hide on one side, and all of a sudden the Druid is alone. How do you like that? Just in case.
So, you guys assemble and group up and move forward?
Yeah, sort of in a triangle with the Druid at the point, and one of us on either side of him, but near enough that if we had to duck out and we had the initiative to do so, we can each just go onto one side and leave the Druid there suddenly alone.
Right. 1 second.
Also, we
So you
both have
move-
deceiving abilities. So.
Yeah, that'll help. So you're moving forward, and you're getting closer, and the mists are blowing by, and they seem to gather around this tower a little bit. And you're kind of looking at each other, but you're moving forward. You're getting close now. You're within about 60, 50 feet, maybe 40, and then you start to see, and the thing turns back and forth, and you realize now that it's some sort of undead specter. And it has this negative force and this energy that it expends from its very essence. And it turns now and goes toward the edge of the battlements and looks at you guys, and that's all it does. And its eyes flash, this kind of white flash, and you're filled with this intense fear. This cold, icy feeling of fear goes right to your heart. And you'll have to make a save roll.
It was a specter of some sort.
Indeed, and it's like you can see now it would have been a dwarf soldier or something at one time, but now it's some horrible gaunt thing like that you can see right through, but it has some power, horrible power.
But it's two floors up and behind battlements anyhow, isn't it?
Yeah, and you got within about 60 or 50 feet of it, so you were just about to, you were close to the wooden plankway. You were almost going to cross it. And then all of a sudden, it's, what is this? And it turns, and you guys have to make a save versus spells. However, you do get -2. So that's good on your roll, which may help.
Oh,
Save versus spells -2. Okay.
Oh, sorry, I'm going to give you -4 because you guys kind of were a little bit ready. I'm going to give you 2 more on that.
So,
Wow, who rolled a 1?
Brother Merrick.
Brother Merrick. So you were the one who sensed it. Now, Brother Merrick, I want you to describe what happens as you ace this. And this is going to have long-term effect on you, by the way. I'm going to give you, but go ahead.
well, isn't that the opposite? I think you have to roll over the save.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a
1E.
That was failed miserably.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my.
one is a one is a one, isn't it?
Oh, shoot.
So,
Oh,
yeah. The
yeah.
other kind of this is going to be very important.
I was thinking of a stat check. Oh, no.
Oh, so it shouldn't have been -4. It should have been
It didn't
+4.
catch up to me after I run.
Right, yeah, it should have been the other way around. A plus on the saving throw.
Plus,
Okay, so-
yeah, okay. So
Griffin
Merrick, you're
really
yeah.
made his.
And Vama made his too, because 9 plus 4 would have been a 13, and I have a 12 for
Merrick suddenly screams out, "He's not real! He's gonna kill us all!" And he starts running the opposite way back down the causeway, and now he's very fast.
What is
And
that sleep?
well, you guys have a second to act as he gets out of range, but once he's gone, I don't think any of you guys can catch him.
I don't think we can.
I don't know if Griffin's movement is. Well, his base is 12. He can run at 120, but maybe I can keep him within sight.
Well, a strange thing does happen. A very strange thing. The water, after he runs about 60 feet back along the causeway, or even further, probably about 100 feet, he's sprinting. You see a figure lurch out of the water. And just misses him.
Wait, whoa! What sort of figure?
It was one of these muck dwellers.
Oh my God! These are a plague.
And you ran by him full bore, Merrick, so fast that he missed. I rolled a 7.
I should just leap out of the water and grab him.
Yeah, and looks around this thing and skitters. But meanwhile, the two of you had this sense of fright. Now, by the way, I jumped that. You guys had a moment to act before he sprinted off. I guess you used your sleep spell, right?
I don't have it anymore. Yeah, or you know where it would be.
Yeah. Yeah, pardon me, Brific. And you guys can follow, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should.
Do you want to go? You want to try to grapple the martial artist?
Meanwhile,
Well,
the sentry
to
is
keep
back
an eye on
marching.
The sentry just goes back to march. He's not looking at us anymore.
Nope.
Something is not right here.
It's some strange spectral undead thing that you're not sure. Yeah.
I'll yell out, Mac! No!
Merrick, yeah, you dodged one muck dweller and you're sprinting. Now, you guys, I guess, couldn't grab him or anything. He's so fast, he ran. And you guys want to follow him? Like you said,
Yeah.
I don't want to, you know?
I don't know if we want to, but we're going to.
Yeah,
Griffin's going after him.
Griffin's sprinting off best you can. Now you're at sprint pace, which is basically triple or times 4. I've forgotten now. But anyway, he's quicker. He's a monk, unless you have some sort of boost. Now I'm going to roll a see how long that effect lasts. Okay, So 5 rounds. You're sprinting, so you can cover probably about 100 feet. You can cover quite a ways. You could probably run about half a mile. No, maybe not that far. No, not that far. You go at least a couple 100 yards, 300 yards down in that time. And these guys, it's sprinting after you, and you run. Now that muck dweller jumped out when he sees you guys running at him. Well, he jumps back into the water.
I hate those things.
He doesn't appear to have much backup. He looked around quick. He saw the two of you running, and he gave this hiss, spit, and jumps back in the water. But you guys are careful. You're looking, right? Of course. You're like, eh. And Griffin, you run. And your heart's racing. And after a little while, you start to, okay, I'm safe. I'm alive. You got to touching yourself. I'm alive. Now, gentlemen, next part beckons. However, I have to ask if you guys are, it's been 4 hours of play. The next part is really interesting and will take a little time.
Oh, he said he's got 15 minutes left before he's got to call it a night.
Yeah, that's probably it for me before we get wrapped up into another.
Oh, that'll give us.
section.
Okay, then we can wrap up here. Well, it's not the best spot.
Well, if I can make this clear, hold on. Vama didn't chase him.
Oh, okay, so you hang back.
I hung back and actually started walking backwards towards, like, assuming that I'm facing down the causeway. I'm looking for that lizard creature that jumped out and then was frustrated or thwarted, right? And then the druid ran past that point too, and then kept on chasing him. You guys are friends. I trust you both. But if Vama is going to back up towards this tower. I don't know. We hadn't crossed any drawbridge yet, right? Or any whatever that planking was.
You haven't stepped onto this sort of. It looks pretty rickety, but somewhat solid, I suppose. It should hold your weight.
Right. Vama would like to very carefully, gingerly, walk backwards on that planking to get to the island side of it with he's readying a sling as well and looking back towards where the monk and the druid have gone. Or if there's anything that wants to come up on that causeway, he wants to be prepared to hit it with a sling bullet if possible. But he's walking gingerly backwards to get underneath the walls and underneath those battlements.
And this creature that keeps walking up there seems to ignore you at this point. It's weird. And back to Griffin, you chased Mount Merrick, and he took off, but you could see him off in the distance when he finally slows down. And, well, the muck dwellers seem to be not around. They fled again at the moment. And you catch up to Merrick. And I don't know what you say to him or whatever, but he seems to be like pretty shaken. He doesn't really want to go, I don't know. Doesn't really want to go back, that's for sure, to the tower. I mean, depends. What do you say to him?
So I saw him. Are you okay? How do you feel? What happened?
How do I feel?
Well, it's worn off now. You guys ran quite a ways. You look back now and you see we ran back quite a ways down this passageway, and you're looking at the water beside you guys and whatnot. A bit in the middle of nowhere. But you've shaken off the fear. It's worn off. You still got goosebumps.
Explain. I don't know what happened. Clearly, it was terrifying.
Yeah.
Do you think you can we go back down there and collect our new companion, or if he has to save versus anything or not?
I'll do my best.
And well, he seems okay, Vama. make him out way down there, and he's sort of on the edge, waiting, looking back towards the causeway with his back to the tower, and he's watching the water in the causeway. Seems to be waiting.
Yeah, if you guys make a holler like you know, I would do the same. Just like show my hand up here. I'm here. I'm
Right,
alive, and I'm looking at you guys.
And he's still close to the tower. Like you can see, he's probably 50, 60 feet away from that thing, and you can see the figure there now. And Merrick, you give a shudder, and you'll, you know, outside the box, you probably have to face another roll here if you want to go there. And I rolled pretty generous with the time count on that fear. Like that was one of the minimal time.
Yeah, Merrick's going to move as close as he feels comfortable and then stop and wait for him to come around.
Yeah, you catch up and you're like, hey, you okay? So yeah, Merrick gets to that about 50, 60 foot area, and he can already sense. And then this creature, hasn't moved yet. You're not quite there yet.
How close has Fama been able to get to the tower? I mean, he would have. My intention was to continuously walk backward until at least I cleared that.
You're about 25 feet to the tower.
Okay, so I'm across that bridge anyhow.
No, actually the bridge is right there. Like the bridge is about 20 feet long, 25 feet, and you're on the very edge of it, and you can see the towers right there. And it's not as spooky. Like you've kind of gotten over the spookiness now. Like there is something up walking on there. It's a spirit or an undead ghost or something, but it seems to be not aggressive, except that its initial scare.
Yeah.
It's haunting or whatever.
Right. I'm still once again remaining. If you guys can see me clearly, see Vama clearly, he has a sling out and a bullet is in the sling, and he has got a nice solid braced stance. And you know, like I've got you. Like he's I don't want to have to say anything, but you know, like the visual of don't worry, I got your back. Just come on over. Come on. Like something is not right here, but it's okay. I'm not in danger, and I've got your back.
Well, Merrick, you can take some inspiration from that. Now you already had a -4 or +4. That would give you another bonus. That'd give you a +5.
Okay,
So
move up.
now you're beside him, Griffin. You're watching him, and he's kind of like gritting his teeth. Seems to want to move forward.
Was it versus spells you said?
Yep.
Failed.
By how much?
11.
By
9.
how much?
Yeah, he needed a
15.
15. You didn't have any bonuses on that, I suppose.
Oh,
He's
is it a mental effect? Because then I would get +4, right?
yeah, it is.
Wait, so how much did you fail by though?
He was close because he rolled a 6. Or did you add that bonus already? Yeah. No, 6 + 5 is 11.
I needed a 15.
Yeah, so
I want to use my inspiration and give it to him too to increase that roll.
oh, good call. Yeah, 'cause I'm thinking it's not going to happen. So you get to roll one die 4 and add that to the roll, and that'll tip it. Actually, he's so close.
I mean, yeah, I'm reaching. Come on, it's okay. It's okay. There's something wrong. It's in your head. We can do this.
So Merrick, what do
want me to
you say?
Yeah.
We can do this. It's all right. We can do this together.
So you that tips the scales, and you move forward, and you realize that that thing is scary, and it's some sort of force, but it won't hurt you so far. And you get close to Vama, and you're right under this thing, and you're looking up at it, and you can just see it slip once a while into view as it does its rotation, and then it's gone. And there's a rickety walkway going southwest across this gap of weed lake to this platform. And yeah, we could probably stop it now where you guys are about to go into the tower, because that's going to take some time.
Mm-hmm.
It's at least an hour or so, and it's a pretty cool part.
We had
Go ahead.
the those 3 lizard things, what was the XP on those?
Oh, right. They were 10 each. So
Oh.
30 XP there.
Okay.
Well, those are the 3 we killed. The 3 that broke morale. Is that considered a defeat?
No, I don't think so. I think you got to kill him.
Those things are going to be a thorn in our
Take him
side.
prisoner. Yeah. Well, then I'm gonna stop the broadcast at this point, I think, and we're the 3 of us are sitting at this wooden causeway and ready to rock. Thanks, guys. All right, tune in for the next session.